your teams. The heart of Atlanta. Valley Sports South and Valley Sports Southeast. The heart of the fan.
It was a rainy day yesterday on Hank Aaron Way, but skies are clear. It's a gorgeous day in Northport, Florida, and Cool Today Park, where the smiling faces of the world champion Atlanta Braves play host to the Boston Red Sox in our second spring telecast today on Valley Sports. Hi again, everybody. We've got our big stars, Brian Jordan, Paul Bird, Chip Carey with you for our second telecast. BJ, we're less than 2 weeks into the spring campaign, and maybe some hints as to how Snit's going to line them up against the Reds.
Well, you know, after the lockout, you have no choice. You got to get these guys some at-bats, and with the lineup today, this could be the opening lineup come April 7th, depending on whether we're facing a righty or lefty. Alex Dickerson is the guy that we brought in the offseason. If it's me, I want as many at-bats as possible before April 7th.
And Birdie innings, too. Ian Anderson was washed out yesterday, but we get to see him today.
I love watching Ian Anderson throw the ball, the fastball behind that, the really good changeup, keeping people off stride, keeping the timing off, and he's thrown some really big games. He's pitched like a veteran ever since he's got here. There's the high heat right there, the beard, the smile. He's calm, cool, and collective. What do those numbers translate to in the postseason? Check it out. 8 career postseason starts, 1.26 ERA. Chip, that's John Smoltz-esque.
Well, Ian Anderson is a New York kid who grew up a Red Sox fan, but not today. He's facing Boston in his first spring start. Beautiful weather, big crowds, big stars, big names, big opportunities await Brian Snitker's ball club today. It's the Braves, it's the Red Sox lineup saying first pitch coming your way from Northport next. Northport, Florida, as we get you set for the Braves and Red Sox, our second spring training telecast here in the month of March. Let's join our fourth colleague, Kelly Crull. Kel?
Well, Chip, like Brian Snitker, I think all of us really looking forward to seeing Ian Anderson out there today. This is the first start of the spring for the young righty who, according to Skip, told me he's looked really good in his sim games and live BPs so far, but it'll just be nice for him to go against somebody else here today. And as far as the next step for Anderson, when I asked Brian what that might be, he goes, you know, like any young pitcher or even a veteran pitcher, it's that consistency, the command on a consistent basis. That's what he'll be looking for. And Birdie, I'm curious because, you know, we've seen so much in his young career already. The big moment doesn't phase Anderson, of course, and you think about all that he's been through already, but how do you start working on that consistency? Is it film? What can he do this year?
No, you got it, Kelly. I appreciate the question. So for him, he's not scared. He's going to go after hitters. It's just a matter of mechanics, specifically early in the game. Guys, he's got a 3.58 career ERA, but in that first inning, it's a 6.38. So he doesn't need to add a specific pitch or this or that. Just needs to be more consistent early on.
Well, he's got Christian Arroyo set up for that great changeup if he wants to throw it here in the first inning. Arroyo playing shortstop for the Red Sox today. And a little ground ball right to Ozzie Albies. And that'll take care of Arroyo. And here's the rest of the Boston Red Sox starting lineup. Alex Cora is their manager. Their starting nine is always presented by Toyota. The Red Sox having a good spring. They're 6-2 so far. Jarren Duran playing center. Travis Shaw, Christian Vasquez, couple of regulars in the lineup. Rob Refsnyder's in right field, former Yankee. And Ryan Fitzgerald playing third base today. He's homered in the last 2 games for the Bo Sox, who made the playoffs on the last day of the season last year, beat the Yankees in the wild card game, knocked off Tampa Bay, and then fell to the Astros in the ALCS. And Jarren Duran, the center fielder, down a strike. It's 0-1.
Paul, let me ask you this question about Anderson, man. You know, last year, this guy's a big-time pitcher. But if you had a knock on him, he throws a lot of pitches in 5 innings.
And to the wind and right, and a base hit for Duran, the first of the game.
How does he cut back on that? How does he execute a little better?
I think he has to get ahead in the count more. He doesn't have that nasty put away, you know, John Smoltz slider. And he's the guy I was comparing him to earlier because he's done so well in the postseason. But he has a really good changeup. And so that's your weapon. That's your out pitch. But you have to get ahead of the hitters. And he can fall behind a little bit, pick a little bit too much. He's at his best when he's ahead in the count. They have to swing at the changeup, and then that high fastball works.
I almost didn't recognize Ian when he took the mound. He didn't have the long flowing locks. Got the new spring haircut working today.
I mean, Ian's last outing, he's got a no-hitter chip, and he gets taken out from throwing too many pitches. I mean, I'm not sure I'm getting a haircut or changing a thing.
Well, fortunately, his name's not Samson, so we won't have to worry about him being strong enough to get the season started. And hopefully it'll be a full season for Ian. I think everybody was worried last year after that stint on the injured list with the shoulder inflammation. His stuff wasn't as crisp before the trip to the IL. Wasn't really crisp early on afterward. But boy, as you said, guys, just terrific in the postseason where he went 2-0 with 3 earned runs in 17 playoff innings pitched. So he'll be one of the top 3 arms in rotation for Atlanta. I'm guessing he'd be the number 2 or number 3 guy behind Max Fried. I think Max is in line to start opening day against the Reds. That obviously hasn't been announced yet. But Bertie, I would assume this is a challenge. You only have a few opportunities to get on a big league mound in spring training. You don't have 6 weeks to get ready. You've got to rush through in 3.5. So what effect will that have on guys like Ian Anderson, no matter their level of experience?
I was talking to him in the locker room today, and again, I appreciated him talking to me on game day when, you know, not everybody wants to do that, but he's very relaxed, laughing, carrying on back and forth. And he said one of the things about the lockout he appreciated was it gave him 2 extra weeks to rest, because that postseason he went into October and November a little bit, and so he actually liked the extra rest.
But with that extra rest comes, okay, now we only got 4 weeks and I got to be out there ready to start the season.
Yeah.
Does it affect the starters more or the bullpen?
That affects the starters more, because I can get ready to throw an inning or 2 quickly. I can't get ready to throw properly, taking my time, building my arm strength up 80 pitches right away.
Travis Shaw to center. Adam Duvall is there. That's the second out, softly hit. And back to first is Duran with 2 outs, and Christian Vasquez, the Boston catcher, is coming up. Well, one thing that's good, if you will say, about that situation for the starting pitchers, everybody in baseball is going to be playing on a level playing field. Every rotation is going to have to deal with those same kind of issues. And I thought last year, guys, one of the things that really helped propel the Braves to postseason play was the organizational depth they had with regards to their pitching. And I think the same is true going into spring training this year. Do you guys agree with that?
I would. I mean, if I'm looking at this team's pitching staff, you talked about, you know, how good it's Fried, some of the other guys. We have 3 aces, in my opinion. I mean, a mid-3 ERA, but an incredible postseason pitcher, and I think you got 4 closers in the pen. You know, we talk about Jansen and Will Smith, but you also got other guys down there. You know, Luke Jackson, people that have experience closing. I was talking to Will Smith before the game. He thinks Tyler Matzik has the nastiest stuff out of everybody. So this is a very complete pitching staff, and that's what you need.
Anderson to Vasquez. Runner goes. Pitch high and tight. Darno's throw is off target. It sailed on him. And Jarren Duran, athletic second baseman who's being converted to the outfield for Boston, has a first inning stolen base.
So with that being said, Paul, about the pitchers, the start of the season, everybody's talking about 6 starters versus 5. Now, because this is a shortened spring training, is that smart to have 6 pitchers, or these guys need to get out there and pitch every 5th day?
You know, you could play it either way. I like having 6 starters early, just in case someone gets in trouble and you need an extra day. Somebody has that 1 inning outing that taxes the whole bullpen. I like being prepared, especially early on, since you can carry more pitchers, as many as you want, opening the season for that first few weeks.
Well, what's unique about the way the season opens for the Braves is not that the Mets and Marlins series were moved. Braves open with 14 straight games without a day off, which will also factor into how The rotation lines up. Good start for Ian Anderson. Here come the Braves in the first inning in Northport. Brian Snitker's Braves having a good spring themselves. They're 3-1 so far here in Northport. Snit looks on as his Toyota starting lineup might have, well, shall we say, a hint as to how things might look on opening day against the Cincinnati Reds. Eddie Rosario will lead off. We'll get a look at Alex Dickerson, who's the DH today for the Braves. Dansby's hitting ninth, playing shortstop, and Tanner Houck is on the mound for the Red Sox, like our Kelly Kroll, a product of the University of Missouri.
There we go. Tanner Houck.
Kelly.
You see the number 6'5", 230. This is a big guy. First rounder in 2017. Be exciting to see how he develops.
18 games, 13 starts for Boston last year. Was a guy that would see a lineup twice, but not a third time. Back and forth in rotation, up and down in the minor leagues. And Alex Cora said this offseason that the work that Tanner Houck put in last year has earned him a spot in the Red Sox starting rotation. So he will be in their opening 5 to start the season. First rounder back in 2017 and makes his second spring start here today. That's in the air to center. No problem for Duran. And Rosario's retired for out number 1. BJ, you talked about this starting lineup for Atlanta today. Is that part of your 4 keys today?
Yes, it is. Alex Dickerson, the new guy, is in town from San Francisco. Hit 233 for those guys. I like to see if he can drive the ball, really set the tone, being in that 5th spot, protecting Ozuna and Austin Riley. He spoiled me on Wednesday, going yah-yah twice. I want to see how consistent he can be. Can he get any better than last year?
Matt Olson digs in. And a good breaking ball from Tanner Houck. And Olson is down a strike. We saw Matt the other day. Picked up a first inning hit. Huge year with Oakland last year. 111 RBIs. As this one skied toward left. The ball pushed toward right center. And Stewart's there for the second out. Olson's retired. 2 up, 2 down for Austin Riley.
Matt Olson can go the other way with the best of them. You look at his stance and you're saying, how does he keep his hands that far back and so quick through the zone? But he'll let it get deep and go that way. He can hit home runs oppo taco, making it look easy in batting practice.
Well, that's what Riley did 2 days ago. Remember, Brian Snitker was joking with Austin and said, hey, man, time to do something. Well, the other day he did, didn't he?
He sure did.
2-homer day for Riley. It came against Tampa Bay. And he's coming off a breakout year, 300 average, 303 to be exact, with 33 homers, 107 RBIs, 160 games, and MVP consideration in the National League.
Yeah, I thought he could have been the MVP last year. He was that good.
You think about it, in spring training last year at this time, he's just trying to make the team.
Right.
And he finishes top 10 in WAR in all of baseball. So many great moments. So many heroes last year. But according to the WAR stat, he was the most valuable.
Yeah, he did it not just offensively. His defense was gold glove-like. I thought he played better defense. But what's more exciting is he hit 3-on-3, and he still showed some inconsistencies during the year. I mean, that's how good this kid is. He carried us when at one point of the season, when we were around 500, he was just crushing the ball.
Well, remember, after 2 weeks, there were many who were saying the Braves need to go get a third baseman. I think Austin Riley answered that in a very big way in 2021. Tanner Houck, 1-2-3 first. Glad you're with us from Northport. No score. Boy, it's great to be at Cool Today Park in Northport, Florida. The facility looks fantastic. Big crowd here today for the Braves and the Red Sox. Another game on Valley Sports tomorrow afternoon. The Minnesota Twins will be here. We'll have our coverage beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. In the meantime, it's Ian Anderson's first start against the Boston Red Sox. Roberto Ramos is the first hitter he faces in this scoreless second inning. Well, those first at-bats of spring, those first outings of spring, Bertie, as a pitcher, have to be awfully nerve-wracking, no matter how long or how short you've been in the big leagues or even big league camp.
The toughest part of it for me was always pitching inside. because you got to get that arm ready. You got to amp it up, and you can throw all the bullpens you want until a guy steps in the box, and you got to paint that inside line. It's tough.
I would imagine, Brian, that's tough from a hitter's perspective too, because where the heck's the ball going?
No question about it. I mean, you're up there guessing that first week, hoping for a fastball every pitch, but knowing he's not going to do that.
That's golf toward right. Nice play, Ozzie. Olson recovers to first. That's something Matt's going to have to learn, the remarkable range of Ozzie Albies and how well he can handle all that turf in shallow right field at second base.
You know, that's important because this is why you play spring training games. So Matt Olson, first year with the Braves, can learn his infielders. Looks like he went a little far from first base there, thinking he had to make that play, but you got to know Ozzie can cover a lot of ground.
Spin move. Guys, if I'm pitching for this team, I turn around, I have a Gold Glover potential player at every position on that infield.
Yes, you love the ground ball outs. Anderson has 3 of those so far in the game.
A guy like Ian Anderson, though, he comes to spring training after he's still young. First year, 2019, and that was toward the end of the season. Is he working on something, or is he sitting here trying to still impress the managers?
No, he's just going to do, and I talked to him earlier about that, if he was working on anything special. He told me no. He said, I'm just working on command, which you're always working on, so he's not breaking out any special pitch he worked on in the offseason. He let his arm rest, and then he said, I'm just throwing bullpens because I never knew when we were going to go to camp, so I just kept it light.
Rob Refsnyder fouls that straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Red Sox 92 wins last year. Their big offseason move came within the last week when they signed Trevor Story from the Colorado Rockies to a 6-year contract. Story, a sensational shortstop, will play second base for the Boston Ball Club. And depending on which metric defensively you looked at, that's an area of improvement for Boston. They had one of the poorer defensive teams in Major League Baseball. They're hoping that Story can help them with regards to that in 2022. And like we said about the National League East, every year the AL East, man oh man.
Yeah. Retool every year.
Yeah, get ready.
You got to give Alex Cora a lot of credit, though, last year. I mean, with the injuries and, you know, not a lot of big names. You got J.D. Martinez. You got some good players, but they were injured a lot last year. And all of a sudden, you sign a Story, which surprised me because he's such a good shortstop in my eyes. And to move him to second base, just adding on to the power. You know, you look at that lineup. Only a certain couple of guys had home runs and power, but everybody else did not show a lot of power. So now you add another power guy to this lineup. It's going to be a tough East race in the American League.
So the old theory, maybe they can outscore what they don't catch in Boston in 2022. And so Rob Refsnyder making Anderson work here in the second inning. He's trying to make the Boston club. Again, Boston got into postseason play on the last day of the season and beat their arch rivals, the Yankees. And Anderson fooled him. He caught Refsnyder looking. First strikeout for Anderson. Good 92-mile-an-hour fastball, it looked like. 2 outs.
There it is, down and away at the knees. Could not have been located any better.
I think he was looking for the changeup and got the express instead. And here's Christian Stewart. This is a thrill for this young man out of Providence Christian Academy in Lilburn. So an Atlanta kid out of Tennessee getting to face the Braves for Boston today. So Christian Stewart and Colin McHugh, both from Lilburn, as that's hammered down the right field line into the seats, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And this is a kid that played 3 years with Detroit, and I don't even see any numbers on him last year. And now he's back trying to make a big league club.
I coached against him in high school, and it didn't matter what pitch I called.
Really?
Yeah, and you look at that body, the speed and everything, he was a catcher.
Wow.
Man.
And I told the coach, I'm like, I think he's out of position. Wasn't really my business, but he said, we don't have anybody else that can catch.
Well, somebody came to their senses. He's playing left field for Boston today.
There you go.
So we hope Christian Stewart has a great year. You know, his friends and family are watching. This kid had tremendous power in high school in Georgia. 69 home runs. You know who else had 69 home runs? Micah Owings. And it seemed like he hit them all against the Braves.
He should have been a hitter. A great pitcher, but my opinion.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty. And Anderson runs it full. First full count for Ian on the day. Breeze blowing from right to left. Big difference than what we saw here a couple of days ago. So left-handed hitters might have a lot of fun taking aim at the Braves office building above the stands in right. And Anderson pulled that pitch and issues a 2-out walk. So Stewart's aboard. Jonathan Rouse is coming up. He's the Boston second sacker today.
Stewart looks like a linebacker, fullback type. Running down first base, man.
You would know.
Those thighs.
Big man. You see Rose's numbers last year. Handful of homers. That's a good pitch. Strike 1. As you think about the Red Sox, they're going to have Story, Bogarts, Devers, second, short, and third. Man. Pretty powerful trio there. As Anderson delivers the 0-1, now quickly 0-2.
And don't forget about J.D. Martinez. Yeah. That's 4 guys that you got to get through as a pitcher, Paul.
And Jackie Bradley's back. Brought him back to Boston. And of course, not only will opening day be special for the Red Sox, one of their own, David Ortiz, elected to the Hall of Fame. Those ceremonies will take place in late July. You know, Red Sox faithful will pack Cooperstown and welcome David Ortiz into baseball or immortality later on this summer.
One of my favorite guys to watch hit, man. I mean, nothing bothered him. It was just fun to watch him, man. Always smiling. Really nice to the fans. He was a great guy.
Yeah, you hit 30 bombs and drive in 100. Why wouldn't you smile? Ian Anderson takes care of the Boston second baseman. His second strikeout. And no score here in the second inning.
Cool today, Park, and 4-5-6 on the way for the Braves. And talking to Brian Snitker this morning, just talking about the versatility of this lineup and all that he has to work with. And he went on to say, you know, they're still kind of figuring out some of those scenarios. You look at Dickerson. I know, BJ, you brought up him DHing today. They're hitting 5th. And he goes, we'll be able to kind of match up the way we want to, make things a little difficult on the opposition. And he goes, either way you look at it, though, when you have the DH, that leadoff prototypical guy or your second guy, maybe not as important, but one thing's for sure, I have some depth to work with. So he likes what he sees when he gets to pencil these names in, guys.
Flexibility's the key in today's game. As Marcell leads off the Atlanta second. And shoots one off the end of the bat. Might have broken the bat. Think he did. And that count now a ball and 2 strikes.
As a pitcher, you just laugh right there, don't you?
Yeah,
breaking
that
out
feels good.
The hitter's bats, huh?
A couple days ago, he did that, and he worked it down the right field line, and the wind blew it back fair. So today, the wind blowing a totally different direction.
Yeah, pull the ball today. If you want that to happen.
Exactly. Which I'm kind of happy about because we parked right behind there. So.
Yeah, anybody's car. Anybody get dinged?
I'm clear.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Marcell Ozuna. And that missed the corner. 2-2. Well, a couple years ago, remember the hitting show the Braves put on at Fenway Park, all those home runs.
Duvall and Ozuna, 3 home runs apiece in 2 different games.
And I think it was Marcel that hit a ball at Fenway Park that I've never seen hit before, into the camera well in center field.
Yep.
So tremendous power in the middle of the Braves lineup. Braves looking for their first base runner, and a good cut there. Had it timed up. This kid's throwing hard. He's got a good fastball slider guy. Tanner Houck, that one at 96 miles an hour.
Now when that wind's blowing from left to right, it's going to push the ball that direction. You can really play that slider today.
Oh, that was nasty, darting down and in. And Ozuna over the top. He's down on strikes. 4 up, 4 down for Houck, 2 in a row via the strikeout.
That's just a nasty pitch. A sinker running down. This early in spring training, hitter has no chance of hitting that ball. You know, this is, you look at this shortened spring training as a hitter. Look, I'm gonna get my 3 at bats here hopefully today, and I'm going to the backfield and I'm looking at more pitches because I know my time is limited. I have to try to get that timing down as quick as possible. You got to see as many pitches as possible.
How many at bats did you feel, Brian, you needed before you were ready to go for live action?
Well, I needed at least 50, 60 at bats coming out of spring training to feel comfortable going into the season.
1 ball, no strikes. So there's a chance guys could get to 35, 40 maybe.
Right.
So
it's not enough. It's not enough.
So
Unless you're David Ortiz.
You go stand in the bullpens.
Yeah, I mean, you got to just stand in the bullpen, watch those guys throw different pitches, just so you can see it and try to time it out. But nothing replaces being in that batter's box and hitting live.
2-1 for Alex Dickerson, the Braves DH today. This guy could be a very important player for the Braves this year. Brian mentioned 13 homers last year with the Giants. There will be 2 extra roster spots, it appears, for major league clubs the first month of the season. And guys, as right-handed hitting as this team is, Dickerson's going to be possibly an important part to help balance that.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly why Alex went out and got him this offseason, to have that left-handed bat with some power in this lineup.
Shot foul to the left side, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And he gives you another option to play left field too. He's a pretty good defensive outfielder.
Some more of that flexibility we were talking about just a few minutes ago. As Houck goes to work. And there's a slider that just missed. Vasquez thought it was good enough, but no call. 3-2 for Alex Dickerson. And ball 4. There's your first Braves base runner. Dickerson takes ball 4, and he'll stand at first in front of Ozzie Albies. Albies, then Duvall here in the second inning. No score. And another miss arm side from Tanner Houck. 1 ball, no strikes. Another big year for Albies last year at the plate, in the field. Guessing Ozzie'd like to see his numbers against right-handed pitching improve in 2022. You know, he kills left-handers. And with his bat in the lineup every day and so few everyday left-hand hitters, again, to that point about balance, his bat extremely important for the Braves. And he works a 3-0 count. All-Star year, Silver Slugger Award win for Ozzie last year. 77 extra base hits and triple digits in RBIs.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see him hitting 6 today. I would have expected him to hit probably in that number 2 spot, especially when Acuna comes back.
Well, he earns the second of consecutive walks, and the plate jumping around on Tanner Houck, and that'll earn a visit. It's Dave Bush, the pitching coach for Boston. Well, to our point earlier about all the flexibility at the DH spot, I think Brian has flexibility in how he stacks his lineup. He can play matchup, Brian, pretty much every day because, as you said, you got Ozzie Albies who could hit lead off, first, second, third, even fourth if you want,
right,
with 106 RBIs. He could be in a run-producing spot, not a table-setting spot.
Yep. I think another thing, too, there's always somebody that gets injured. You know, you don't factor that in at the start of the season. You just think everybody's going to be healthy, everything's going to be great. But, you know, you always have those injuries, and having a deep bench, not just with your pitching staff, but infielders, outfield, is just an added bonus and necessary, and we saw it come into play last year.
Adam Duvall with 2 on, 1 out. And he got the slider. A swing and a miss for Adam Duvall.
I mean, you got the luxury of hitting a guy, number 9, 27 home runs, and Dansby Swanson. I mean, which is perfect because it's like 2 leadoff guys back to back with Eddie Rosario leading off.
I don't know if you can say it's an American League lineup anymore now that everybody's using the designated hitter, but to use that terminology, guys, I think that's an apt way of describing this Braves starting 9 offensively. There are very few weak spots that teams are going to have to work their way through. The ball's 2 strikes for Duvall, 2 on, 1 out, and right back toward us.
I had that net. I had a souvenir.
I saw you, man. The quickness. You still got the quickness.
Yeah.
I like it.
Outfield straight away and deep for Boston. Dickerson, the lead runner at second for the Braves, and another hook. Here's that slider. It's a good one. And Houck has his second strikeout of the inning, 3rd of the game. Duvall retired, and it's up to Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, this is just another nasty slider. After the couple of swings early in the count, why not go back and a little further off the plate like he did?
Location and action on that pitch works in spring training and the middle and end of the year as well.
Braves feel really good about their catching situation entering 2022. We saw Manny Pena behind the plate the other day. Travis d'Arnaud will join him as the Braves big league catching tandem. D'Arnaud's season last year shortened. Remember, he tore the ligament in his thumb down in Dunedin when the Braves played the Toronto Blue Jays, and he played 60 games. Missed 86. Was activated off the injured list August the 11th and came back hot.
Yeah, it was good to see him back late in that season. Caught every game in the playoffs.
Multi-hit efforts in 4 of the 6 World Series games the Braves played against Houston, and signed to a 2-year deal for his good work at the plate and behind it. And a chopper foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hard to believe last year that a world champion team used 7 catchers. And that was the fate of the Braves last season. And should an injury situation arise with d'Arnaud and Manny Pena, you've got William Contreras ready to go. We saw plenty of big league time last year. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. And Vasquez, a nice stop.
Right now as a hitter, I'm just waiting on his slider.
Okay.
Yep. Got his strikeout against Duvall. He loves it. He's falling in love with that slider right now.
You start to hone in.
Yes.
Well, he's got a big hole right side to play with if he can shoot that slider the opposite way. Instead, he got the express.
And I would have done the same thing.
It's spring training, folks. And no score as Tanner Houck pitches out of second inning trouble. Outstanding offense, 239 homers, the highest batting average with runners in scoring position, scored almost 5 runs a game. Those are the kinds of numbers that make a hitting coach smile. Wouldn't you guys agree?
No question.
And look at the smile on Kevin Seitzer, who's the man responsible for all of that great work last year.
Yeah, dadgummit, we won the World Series. I'm still smiling.
Yeah, the same question I've asked everybody. Seitz, how did that World Series win change your life, if at all?
Unbelievable. I mean, you know, it's something that you work for your whole life, and being in all the years in pro ball that I've been, to be able to get to the big dance and win it, it was just spectacular.
Spring training is always a time of renewal and rebirth. You're looking forward to a new season. As you look at this squad and you look at the new players that have come in, the players that are returning, what are your initial thoughts of how this offense is going to stack up?
I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, with the lockout and everything, shortened spring training, I mean, guys they're behind right now. So I'm just hoping, you know, once the bell rings, we catch up quick, get the timing, and get synced up. But they're working hard and doing everything they can to get ready without blowing out.
As we said earlier, Seitz, one advantage is everybody's in the same boat that your hitters are and other teams' hitters are, right? How many at-bats can guys get before they think they're ready?
You know, they like to get around 40, 50, something like that, but they're getting lots of extra looks on live BPs because pitchers are behind and they're trying to get caught up. And we got games going on the minor league fields, and we've had some guys go back there, get 6, 7 at-bats. They just bounce between 2 fields and hit every inning. And so, you know, we're doing everything we can to get them ready.
Ryan Fitzgerald swung at a ball in the dirt. That'll be the first out for Ian Anderson. That's his 3rd strikeout in today's game.
Seitz, BJ, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Now, how hard is it? You know, you coming into the spring training, you know the lockout lasted a little longer than anybody expected. To get these guys prepared, I mean, you know, like you said, you're not going to get the at-bats that you expect every spring training. What are the guys doing extra to make it happen besides going out on the backfield? Are they coming in early?
Yeah, they're doing lots of extra work. We're getting lots of machine time. I mean, yesterday we had the game rained out, and we were here till probably close to 1 o'clock with guys doing lots of machine reps, getting velocity, getting sliders, and, you know, lefties, righties. We got the machine set up to where we can help everybody out with what they want, and it's they're doing tremendous work. The focus, the intensity is heightened right now, which is expected, but you know, the work they're putting in, it's been pretty fun to watch. They're doing everything they can to be ready for April 7th.
Seitz, Birdie here. How about your new first baseman coming in?
Man, awesome. I mean, my goodness, he's a quality human being, and the work ethic and conversations we've had so far, it's been great. I've fallen in love with the kid already. I mean, we're gonna miss Freddie big time, doggone it, but we got a good one to replace him.
When somebody comes in, little unorthodox hitting stance but it works, so I'm guessing you don't change a thing. Does he tell you what to look for, or do you just start to watch him and sit back?
Yeah, we've had conversations about it. You know, what are your focus points? What are the things that you look to try and stay in sync and locked in, and then what adjustments do you have to make when things start to break down? Just that's what I look for. So I've watched video and everything. I mean, the kid's special, and you know, the conversations we've had with his approach, 2 strikes, hitters counts. You know, he knows he's a scary guy where he's going to get a lot of secondary stuff and fastball counts. Just his brain works really good. There's not any panic to the guy. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Hey, Seitz, can Riley get any better? What are you looking for him? I mean, he hit 303 last year, hit those home runs. He had some inconsistencies. What can he do better this year?
Now, I don't know that he can do anything better. He had a special year last year. I mean, you know, from playing, there's going to be ups and downs throughout the season, and you know, our job is to try and keep him as synced up as possible, and when things start to break down and they go into little funks, we try and keep them as short as possible. So, you know, a lot of times guys start pressing, trying harder, you know, get a little stressed out, get a little too amped up, try and do a little too much. So you just try and work between their ears to keep them where they need to be to stay locked in.
Do you have a seatbelt for Ronald Acuna Jr. to strap him to a chair so he doesn't do too much?
Oh man, he's chomping at the bit. He looks really good right now. I mean, it's going to be awesome when he comes back and gets in that lineup. So I'm hoping it's going to be as fun as what the potential could be there.
That's where I was headed to next, because again, you didn't have Ozuna last year. You had Acuna for half the season. You had a guy in Matt Olson who drove in 111 runs for you last year. I mean, this could be the bombs away in Atlanta GA squad.
Yeah, I'm the hitting coach, though, so I don't have expectations like that. I just want to win ball games, whatever it takes. If it's 1-0 and 2-1, we'll take it. But yeah, it's a pretty dynamic presence 1 through 9. So we'll see where it goes.
How's the hip?
It's doing better, thanks. Yeah, I still got quite a ways to go to get back to normal, but it's doing a lot better. Thank you.
Well, we're going to let you put the headset down, walk away, get your steps in, enjoy the Braves offense going to work in the 3rd inning after Anderson gets this last out.
All
Seitz,
right.
we appreciate you, man.
All right, sounds good, guys.
All right, Kevin Seitzer, hitting coach of the Braves, as Ian Anderson looking good so far, fellas. 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings so far.
Looking good. This is what you want to see. Hadn't missed a beat.
Travis Shaw, big burly first baseman for Boston, and on the ground. That should be easy. And the flip to first in plenty of time. 3 scoreless innings for Ian Anderson, 4 strikeouts, couple of hits. Let's see if the Braves offense can give him a lead. Braves Champions Week presented by Harrah's Cherokee Casinos. Special celebrations every game, including the pennant unveiling on April 7th. World Series ring ceremony April 9th, and the replica ring giveaway for the fans on April the 11th. And on April 13th, Bulldog fans won't want to miss this. The UGA National Football Championship celebration and a whole lot more. All the details are online, Braves.com/championsweek.
The Bulldogs. Wow, what a year.
Chip
for Georgia.
just keeps saying it over and over. You won't
Be like world champion Braves and national champion Dogs. Just kind of goes hand in hand. don't you
Okay.
think, right?
Okay. What a year for Georgia.
And for the state, it was great.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So I can't wait to get back to Atlanta and see beautiful Truist Park, big crowds, and of course the crowning achievement for the players and the staff, front office folks, the world champion rings.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson hits and takes outside, 3-0. Houck was real sharp in the first inning, not so much in the second, and he's way behind Dansby here. 3 balls, no strikes. Swanson, Rosario, and Olson coming up. Great year for Dansby Swanson last year. Brian mentioned all the power numbers the Braves shortstop turned in. Local kid, world championship, and engaged to Mallory Pugh. He'll be getting married this December. So what an incredible ride the last 12 months for Dansby Swanson.
We got to add him to the list of
Yeah.
UGA and Braves. Dansby Swanson with an unforgettable year.
So the Braves have their first leadoff man of the game. Houck's got a good arm. 4 strikeouts, but 3 walks today in his second spring start. Let's see if Rosario can chase Dansby around. Eddie flied out his first time up.
I was so pulling for Dansby to get 30 home runs last year and have the whole infield with 30 home runs, man. That would have been sweet.
He's holding them back.
1 ball, no strikes for postseason hero Eddie Rosario. 14 hits, 3 of them home runs in the NLCS. Have yourself a great week. And Eddie did that, rewarded with a 2-year contract, and again another left-handed bat that the Braves can plug into their lineup. Rosario 0 for 1 today. See if the Braves turn Swanson loose. Short lead and skied to center. Duran Can't find it. Ball drops in safely 40 feet in front of him. And nobody covers second base, and sliding in safely is Rosario's. There's a break. A spring training double for Rosario, and the Braves have him second and third with nobody out.
Wow, that's a lonely feeling out there in center field. I mean, that ball was not even close to him.
Rosario with some great hustle going around first base. EY giving him some applause running over there.
Well, EY was yelling at him because he was jogging out of the box.
He was.
Just an easy fly ball.
But he didn't hesitate going around first. He turned on the burners.
So an RBI chance for Matt Olson. And he puts it in play. That'll get a run home. Tricky hop. And Olson gets the RBI. That scores Swanson. Rosario to third, and the Braves take a third inning lead. It's 1-0.
Great job by Matt Olson, just putting the ball in play. Infield playing back. Dansby, great read.
Well, you went up as a hitter. Nobody out, second and third. I mean, you thinking 3-run bomb, or are you just trying to get a guy in?
No, 0-0 ball game. I'm trying to get us ahead.
Just whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Well, this can't be fun for the Boston infield. They're in for Austin Riley. 1 ball, no strikes.
And a lot of times in that situation, I'm not expecting you to throw me an inside pitch to take you deep. You're going to probably stay away, so I got to change my sights to right center field.
Smoke down the right field line. That's near the line, near that wall, and that ball is just foul. The ball is going to carry to right. Yeah, almost an opposite field 2-run homer.
That ball went a long way.
That was a Barry Bonds pop-up. I thought it was a pop-up behind first base, and it's 30 rows deep. Foul. Homer.
The ballpark is called Cool Today Park. The fan is on high. Blowing from left to right.
But that goes back to what I'm saying. Your sights have to be right center field. There, he's staying on the outside corner. With Riley's power, you don't want to get it in that power zone for him.
Braves have a run on their lone hit. Leadoff walk for Dansby. Then the bloop lost in the sun double for Rosario. Then the ground out makes it 1-0. And now Riley a 2-ball 2-strike count. It's so funny. You hear fans say it all the time. Broadcasters who've never played say it all the time. Why don't they just shorten up and hit the ball to right field, right? At 98 with sinking and cutting action. Can't be easy to do.
I'm glad you said that. You know, the game is not easy.
No.
It's not easy to broadcast. It's not easy to play. You know, people say to pitchers, man, why is he walking everybody? Just throw strikes.
Well, he's got to throw a strike here, or Houck will issue another walk. Full count. Rosario leads at third. And a little flare into center field off the end of the bat. It's 2-0 Atlanta. Terrific at bat for Austin Riley. Was put on an offensive show in our first 2 spring telecasts.
And that's just a great approach right there. You know, being patient, taking the balls, and 3-2 count. You got to be looking to cover the plate. A nasty slider away, and he gets he's so strong. He gets enough of the bat on the ball. RBI single. I mean, we saw it so much out of Riley coming through in the clutch. That's a big time hit right there.
Tries to hit a homer on that pitch. It's a ground ball.
Ozuna 1 on, 1 out, and 2 runs in the Braves' third inning as they get their second look at Tanner Houck of the Red Sox. We'll have Nate Eovaldi as their opening day starter. Chris Sale has a stress fracture in his rib. He's injured at the moment. High and tight. 2 balls, no strikes.
Eovaldi, man. Nice and easy 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Rich Hill's going to pitch for the Red Sox this year.
Crafty. Oh, man.
The ageless wonder.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Rich Hill, good for him. Kind of a modern day Jamie Moyer, if you will. But they're counting on big things from Tanner Houck, who looked terrific in the first inning, but has had base runners everywhere the last 2 frames. He's down 2-0. And there's a strike to the Braves left fielder, Marcell Ozuna. That's up and away. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. In the COVID-shortened 2020 season, Ozuna had a remarkable year. .338 average, 18 homers, 56 RBIs. Nearly won the National League Triple Crown. Last year, 48 games before he fractured his fingers. That was in Boston, if memory serves. That limited Ozuna to 48 games. But look, getting this guy back in the middle of your lineup, he's a perennial mid to high 20s home run guy with 80 or more RBIs that you figure to pencil in. And he takes ball 4. So another walk from Houck, second of the inning, 4 of them in the game. And Dave Bush again makes a mound visit. So 2 in, 2 outs, and 2 men aboard. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and a whole lot more for your Atlanta Braves. So here's Dickerson. Dickerson earned the first of those 4 walks from Houck. That came in the second inning.
Watch Dickerson in batting practice. He's kind of mechanical. He has a routine he goes through.
Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Love the fact the Braves aren't going up there knowing they needed bats, knowing, Brian, they need to see quality pitches, not just hacking away. They're making this kid work.
Yeah, being very patient.
Lashed at that one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And a lot of times, you know, being in this situation, you want to see as many pitches as possible. You know, 2-0 count. Normally, you're coming out of your shoes on that pitch, but you see these guys taking that 2-0 pitch because they want to see different pitches.
One of the biggest things for me pitching against big leaguers was they foul off good pitches. Where in AA, AAA, you know, they swing through it a lot more. So sometimes when a pitcher throws a really good pitch and the hitter just kind of fouls it and beats it into the ground, it's a win.
This kid's lost command of the strike zone.
Yeah.
3-1. Throwing hard, but not throwing many strikes. So Dickerson way ahead in the count. He could have a very small strike zone in this spot. With Ozzie Albies waiting on deck. Let's see what he gets.
That's a good swing.
He was on it, fouled it straight back. Full count. Now the runners will go with, or potentially will go with 1 out. We'll see.
I like it.
Like
Let's send them. Yeah, 1 out. The shift's on.
Riley the lead runner, Ozuna behind him, not going, and it's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Ozzie Albies, and that's going to be the end of the line for Tanner Houck, who walks his 3rd man of the inning, and after a 1-2-3 first, he walked 5 men in the 2nd and 3rd and leaves trailing 2-0 with the bases loaded. Baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. by Georgia Natural Gas, and by Truist. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. A blue pit and a bunch of bases on balls have Brian Snitker's club up 2-0 here in the home third inning. Bases are loaded and only one man out. Ozzie Albies will be the Atlanta hitter, and he will face a new pitcher for the Red Sox, Jacob Wallace, former third-round pick of the Rockies, and he's a local kid. He's from Methuen, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Methuen, Massachusetts, and played college ball at UConn. So he's got a great arm, and he's going to try to get Boston out of a bases loaded mess and a 2-0 deficit here in the Atlanta third. He's another guy that throws hard, but sometimes has trouble with his command. Last year in A-ball, averaged over 14 strikeouts per 9 innings, but also issued a bunch of walks. No place to put Ozzie Albies here with the bags full and only one out. That'll catch your attention, won't it? 98 with your first one.
Oh, Ozzie was looking dead red.
Yes, he was.
I don't blame him.
And is he swinging a telephone pole or what? Good night. Look at that bat.
In the air to center. That'll bring home another run. Duran makes the catch. Tagging in, scoring is Austin Riley. Ozuna moves up 90 feet as well. Braves playing ABC baseball add to their lead. An RBI for Albies on a sac fly to center. It's now 3-0.
Playing the game the right way, Birdie.
I agree.
Got a new pitcher on the mound. No, he's bases loaded. He has to throw strikes. Being aggressive there. I like
Tried
it.
for a grand slam on pitch 1. Got the dial set. You talked about how important timing is right now in spring training. It only took him one pitch to get in sync.
So let's see what Duvall can do. He struck out in the second inning. Tanner Houck, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings. The 3 runs that have scored belong to him. And he takes high. 1 ball, no strikes.
It's just amazing to see these arms. I mean, nobody's under 95 anymore.
You saying I wouldn't get drafted?
You nor Greg Maddux would get drafted.
Thanks for making me feel better.
I had to make you feel good, man.
It's true. No strikes. Who's the kid at Tennessee that's throwing 103?
Wow, I can't wait to see him. Unbelievable.
And that's a hitter talking, Birdie.
Oh.
No, I don't want to see him in the batter's box. I don't want to be in the batter's box.
I wanted you to clarify
that's like Randy Johnson. I saw enough of Randy.
2 balls, no strikes for Adam Duvall. Braves runners at the corners. And Powder River right on by. 97 miles an hour.
You know what's crazy about that? Not only do you have to throw that hard, you know, it's generating a ton of force, but your arm's got to stay attached to your body after you let it go, and you got to not get hurt and do it over and over and over again.
Two balls and a strike. I would imagine nobody likes being traded, but if you're a Major League Baseball pitching prospect and you are traded from Colorado, you're truly dancing in the streets, especially so when you get a chance to come home and pitch for the Red Sox, which is the case for Wallace. Three-one count. Popped up. Let's see what the wind does with this. Refsnyder, Arauz are there, and Refsnyder puts it away, and that will retire the side. Braves get a trio of walks and a trio of runs in the third inning. Get their first assignment in the spring, and today was a good one for Ian Anderson. Guys, a lot of ground ball outs, 4 strikeouts on the day, 1 walk, a couple of hits, but he leaves with a 3-0 lead. That's certainly encouraging as we edge ever closer to April the 7th. Look at the smile from Ian Anderson. Look at the new haircut from Ian Anderson. Kid, you look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy New Year. What was last year like, and how did it change your life?
Yeah, it was special. You know, to go through what we went through and then come out on top was a special year. I mean, the off season was pretty quiet for me, but kind of laid low and relaxed, and happy to be back here playing some baseball. So.
Wait a minute, quiet off season, world champion, nobody bought you dinner, anything? Nothing?
No, I was hanging out, relaxing.
Nice.
I enjoyed it though.
Nice. Well, what'd you think of your outing today?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Definitely some good things to take out of it. Things to work on. Trying to close the gap a little bit. Felt like I did a good job getting ahead of guys, and you know, I think one of my goals for this year is going to be just trying to get them out a little bit quicker and you know, stay in the game a little bit longer.
Ian, Birdie here. Great to see you today.
Good to see you.
I got to know, last year you're throwing a no-hitter in the playoffs. Snit tells you, hey, that's enough. Did you fight to stay in? What was that conversation like?
I fought a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty non-confrontational, but you know, that was one of the moments where I felt like I wanted to fight it out a little bit, and you know, you couldn't really argue with them. You know, the night shift came in and did what they did, and you know, you had to ride the hot hand, and they were you know, they were as hot as anything I've ever seen. So yeah, it's, you know, it's all part of it, and we got the job done, so you can't complain.
Ian, BJ here, man. One thing that I noticed, you threw a nasty, I don't know, curveball, slider. Which one was that in the dirt?
Curveball, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you trying to work on that a little more this year? Because it was pretty nasty, and that's something that you don't throw often.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's kind of been my focus the last probably 3 to 4 years now. Just kind of sharpen that pitch up, and I was really happy with how it looked today and the results that I got from it. So, you know, going to try to build off it. And my last 2 outings of spring, as crazy as that sounds,
it's crazy.
Only have 2 outings left, but yeah, no, I'm definitely going to try to build on it.
That's what I was going to ask you, Ian. This is a spring training unlike any other, and it seems like every year it's a different kind of spring training. How many innings do you think you'll need before you feel like you've got everything you need to really get going and start your 2022 season?
Yeah, I mean, today was a good step, definitely, to get back out there. Yeah, like I said, I think we're only going to have about 2 more outings. So, you know, go 4 next time, maybe 5 the time after that, and strap it in, and we'll be ready to go. So that's kind of the mindset that we have here, and you know, we're all communicating with how our arms feel, how our bodies feel, and the coaching staff's doing a good job, training staff's doing a great job. So you know, I think we'll be where we need to be come April 7th.
Hey, Ian, Kelly Crawl out here in left field this afternoon. It's a little bit breezy out here, but Ian, you brought up the night shift, and in talking with Will Smith this morning, he said, man, we expect Ian, Chuck, you know, Max to go out there, throw 6 or 7, and then it's a really short day when you think about our role. But how nice for you, because there will be those days, right, where maybe it's not your best outing, but to know that's who you get to turn the ball over to. Yeah,
it gives everyone confidence. It gives the entire team, the coaching staff. I mean, to see, you know, when the door opens, who we got running out there. I mean, you know, Kenley's new here, but he even said last year, you know, other teams, they fear those guys. And, you know, it seems like whenever the door opens, someone's coming out and they're going to get the job done. And, you know, that gives everyone a ton of confidence.
Are you bummed you won't get to hit this year?
No, I don't think so.
Come on.
I think I'm gonna take my 2 hits from last year. And, you know, I have the ball for my first hit, so that'll go on my wall somewhere. But I'm fine that I got one. I'm glad I got at least one. So
yeah, they can't take him away from me.
No, they cannot. They cannot.
Charlie Morton ready to go? Does he look like he's on pace from what you've seen? We have not seen Charlie yet, and obviously his performance in the World Series last year was just remarkable.
Yeah, he looks great. Forget, I was joking around. Someone asked, you know, how Cam's going. I said we were just me and Max were trying to keep up with him. So, you know, 38 years old and still doing it as good as anyone. And you know, he's just the best. I mean, you guys got to interact with him and see him last year, and you know, he's a one-of-a-kind human being, and you know, a hell of a pitcher as well. So we're very fortunate to have him around.
What have you learned most from a guy like Charlie Morton, who's done and been in just about every situation you can in this game?
Yeah, I think you could just take a lot from his, his mindset, the way he goes about his business. He's, such a pro. I know he's rubbed off on me and Max a ton in that aspect. Taking care of your business the way you have to, and treating people the right way. I think that's one of the things he does so well. And he just has so much respect around here and carries so much weight. It's great, like I said.
Well, it was awesome seeing you go to work today, Ian. Good luck in those exhausting final 2 outings.
Thank you,
we will see you on the 7th.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, Brave starter Ian Anderson, Tyler Thornburg, a 1-2-3-4. We'll talk about him when we come back. Time to become an A-list season ticket member. There are limited full season memberships available for this upcoming season. A-list members get early access to postseason tickets, parking, merchandise, and concessions discounts, and so much more. Get all the information on how to become an A-list season ticket member at braves.com/A-list. This is Matt Barnes, another veteran of UConn. This guy's a real good pitcher. 84 strikeouts in 54 2/3. That will certainly open your eyes. 24 saves for the Red Sox, who won 92 games last year. Barnes will face d'Arnaud, Dansby Swanson, and Eddie Rosario as we head to the home fourth. Braves have a 3-0 lead. All 3 runs came in the home third.
Barnes is one of those guys who was dominant at one time, but he really struggled at the end of the year when they needed him most in the playoffs. And I remember late in the game where Alex Cora brought somebody else in instead of Barnes, which was surprising, Paul.
Yeah, you got that sneaky fastball, pitches up in the zone. Sometimes we saw it with Scherzer where you get that dead arm, and you can do the job all year long, gets that playoff. Now you're a little fatigued. You got to find it, and sometimes guys fade.
2 balls and a strike to d'Arnaud. That's downstairs, ball 3. Barnes was left off the original division series and league championship series roster because of those second half struggles, but when Garrett Richards got hurt, they put him back on. So he's hoping for a fresh start, as that one's whacked down the left field line, foul. And the count is 3-2 to the Braves catcher. Tanner Houck started for the Red Sox. 3 runs, 5 walks. In his 2 1/3 innings, Wallace got the last 2 outs last inning. So now Barnes, the 3rd Red Sox pitcher on the day. And a high fastball takes care of d'Arnaud. There's the first out.
There's that sneaky high fastball. Gun says 92, but it plays up an effective velocity because he spins it so well. Follows it with that big hook. I tell you this, Chip. BJ, last inning, he was talking about Randy Johnson and heat and all this. You got to be ready, and it's tough to hit those guys. But I've just learned that it was a setup because BJ hit 333 off Randy Johnson with 13 hits.
I didn't want to pat myself on the back or anything, but
I walked right into that.
Down the line, foul and out of play. Strike 1. Look at that ball carried toward the pole. I mean, as you guys said, softly hit balls have a chance to do some serious damage.
You know the crazy thing about that? How you pitchers remember everything.
Yeah.
I didn't hit a home run off of him until my last year before I retired. And the next day he came out and said, "You finally got me." I mean, you guys don't forget anything.
No, no, not at all. Classy of him to say.
Yeah, it was. That just told me I was in his head every time he faced me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys want to feel old? As Dansby's out on a check swing strikeout. 21 years ago and 1 day ago was the game when Randy Johnson threw a pitch ball that hit the dove in spring training.
Oh, man.
21 years ago.
That was unbelievable. I watched that on ESPN and just poof, feathers everywhere. It's like, what happened? Oh, my goodness.
You get some legal trouble for that? Can't kill the state bird? It was funny.
Who was it in Toronto that threw a ball and hit a seagull? Dave Winfield. Hit a seagull.
But he got in trouble for that.
He got in trouble for that. I remember years ago. You remember Deion James, who played for the Braves? Playing the Mets, I think he hit a pop fly in left and it hit a bird.
Wow.
So you never know what you're going to see in a big league game, certainly in a spring training game. But hard to believe 21 years ago. That poor dove intersected with a Randy Johnson fastball.
Randy, a photographer now, and the signature logo for his company is an upside down bird.
Stop it,
Paul. No, serious.
No way.
Yeah.
No post. 2 strikes from Barnes. And did he go? Nope, held up. 1-2 your count. It's funny, Randy can make fun of that now because, you know, at times Randy was the most stoic, shall we say, of personalities. After that happened, he didn't seem to be too happy about it. Didn't really even want to talk about it. But 21 years and 1 day ago out in Arizona. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's an even count, 2-2. Ian Anderson joined us a moment ago. 2 hits in his 3 innings. Struck out 4, didn't give up a run. Tyler Thornburg, pride of Riverwood High School in Atlanta, came in, looked terrific. He's fighting for a spot in the Braves bullpen. He pitched a 1-2-3 fourth. Kenley Jansen is warming up. He might be next when the Braves are done, and we are going to find out in just a moment. Barnes looked very good for the Red Sox. He struck out the side, but his Bo Sox trail by 3.
In front of the Red Sox 3-0, and Kenley Jansen taking over on the mound. And I'll tell you what, as we walk into the clubhouse here the last couple days and get to meet some of these new guys, it's really hard to miss the figure of 6'5", 260 and just grinning from ear to ear. A childhood dream fulfilled for Jansen, who talked about getting to join Atlanta after being a free agent this offseason.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. It's awesome to put this uniform on, to be honest with you. I'm excited. This is where the love started for me. This is where the hope started. This is where, you know, the dream to become a major league player growing up, being a big Fred McGriff fan, and then next thing you know, Andrew Jones get to the World Series, 2 homers, and really make that hope feel like it's more and more. And then the Braves signed my brother, my older brother, you know, in 1999, and, you know, me coming to Kissimmee, spring training, instructional. So this is where this love started, man. And
the Curacao thing, you had Andrew, like you said, you got Ozzie on this team.
Yeah, Ozzie now, you know, history repeat himself again. You know, Andrew Jones, we've been on Simon for a few years. Now here, me and Ozzie teammates. So, yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun to be here.
Well, what an acquisition for the Braves. And of all of the trades and signings that they made, guys, was this the one that shocked you the most, not just for the Braves but maybe in baseball?
It absolutely did. And you know, Will Smith did the job last year. I know he struggled during the regular season, but he was a postseason hero. So yeah, that shocked me. Am I glad they made it? Absolutely. And I loved Will Smith's attitude, and Will said earlier today that this team has 4 closers, and I thought that was very classy. And his job is to go in and get the save of whatever inning he's in.
Well, the Braves acquired one of the most accomplished closers in history, and certainly, Brian, I guess maybe the most accomplished closer of his generation. 350 saves, one of 12 relief pitchers to have over 1,000 strikeouts in his big league career, and a man that, with that devastating cutter, added a slider, and always has had a good fastball. Now a 3-pitch pitcher in relief, and a guy that can close for you now.
Yeah, I was really surprised that, you know, the Dodgers didn't get him back, because he was just so dominant for so long with, with LA. I was actually riding in the car and somebody called me and said, you know, we just got Kenley Jansen, and I was like, what? I didn't expect it at all, but I was like, well, that's great, because this guy, he gets it done. You know, he had his struggles one year in LA, but when it counted, he was there and he came through. So I'm excited. I love the way Alex Anthopoulos handled it with Will Smith, but he definitely makes this team even better.
Little pop hit toward left, and Marcell Ozuna will handle that. There's the first out. Kenley Jansen gets Christian Stewart easily. 4-out number 1. And here's the back of the bubblegum card for Kenley Jansen, who grew up a Braves fan in Curacao, watching him on the Superstation. And all those great years with the Dodgers. Look at those saves totals. A man that was a catcher when he was first signed by a major league organization, converted to pitcher, and the rest, they say, will probably take him to Cooperstown.
I would agree. He threw out a Crime Dog reference.
Yeah.
Who also should be in Cooperstown, in
yes,
my humble opinion. But to your point, adding Kenley Jansen with Will Smith, who's closed, Luke Jackson has closed, Tyler Matzik can close, A.J. Minter has closed. With 14 straight days of games, you hope the Braves have a chance to close out all 14 of them. There are a lot of options for Brian Snitker and Rick Kranitz, as that one's handled in center by Duvall, as to who can finish out the game depending on rest, workload, and matchups.
And Jansen's going to be your closer, but BJ, if starter goes 5, you can throw a closer each inning.
Exactly.
The rest of the way.
Right.
And then you got a guy like McHugh you pick up from Tampa,
yes,
who's an excellent pitcher, can start games, and he's your long relief guy also.
And we barely touched on Tyler Thornburg, who
looked great,
was outstanding.
Yeah, looked good.
Atlanta guy. As Ryan Fitzgerald, the batter, and outside from Jansen, 1 ball, no strikes.
Thornburg coming back from Tommy John, that inning, you know, first couple innings of spring trainings, you're testing it. Doesn't hurt. It may hurt a little bit, but you're just not sure. And he looked great.
Yeah, I like the way he attacked that lefty with the fastball on the inner half. That tells me he's not afraid to throw in on guys.
Fitzgerald struck out against Ian Anderson, one of Ian's 4 punch-outs on the day. And taken low. 2 balls and a strike. I don't care how much time you've spent in the major leagues, minor leagues, or as a professional player, when you get to stand in and watch a guy like Kenley Jansen face you, that's got to be a knee-knocking moment.
He's a quiet giant. He is huge, but he's so humbled and laid back.
Brian, you can never have too many 6'5" guys around your ball club. That's been my... No, but that was the move that surprised me the most. I'm like everybody else. The phone started buzzing, and I went, Kenley Jansen, huh? Wow. Nobody saw that coming. And here he is with 2 quick outs. And right off the thumbs of Fitzgerald. The cutter, Brian, is a pitch that I'm sure every hitter wishes would be outlawed. What makes that pitch so tough to hit?
Well, it has a late run at the end, and a lot of times you're getting jammed, and you hate getting jammed in spring training. The hands hurt, you get blisters, but it's a very effective pitch.
Downstairs, that's full count for Ryan Fitzgerald. Braves enjoy a 3-0 lead, 3 runs on just 2 hits. 5 walks from Tanner Houck, the Red Sox starter, played a role in his demise today. All 3 runs came in the Atlanta 3rd. Now the payoff pitch. And over the grandstand, out of play. Still 3-2. Well, you know, Jansen's heart will be pumping on the first road trip. Braves will be going to San Diego and LA. And we hope Kenley gets used a lot in that series at Dodger Stadium.
You ready for the Jansen-Freeman matchup?
That's going to be at the top of the list. Payoff pitch. apparently he's going to, speaking of Kenley, his entrance music will be Welcome to Atlanta from Jermaine Dupri.
Nice.
We'll have to hear that California stuff that he sported out in LA.
You know, that was my song when I signed with the Braves. Welcome to Atlanta.
You getting royalties? The pitch. So low. Another walk, this time from Kenley Jansen. And the inning continues for the Red Sox. They'll turn things back to the top in Christian Arroyo. All I know is that whatever walk-in music a closer has from this point forward, it'll be better than what John Smoltz debuted with, which of course was Dancing Queen from ABBA. Did you know that? There's in-game entertainment. The bullpen gates swung open. They were playing Dancing Queen from ABBA, and John comes strutting in from the bullpen and looks up like, really? This is it? And of course, if it was to happen to someone, it could only be John Smoltz. No balls and a strike. Inside corner, a beauty. It's 0-2. Every now and then Jansen will have base runners. He'll lose command of the strike zone. Over 350 saves. He knows how to pitch out of trouble if he gets into it more often than not, and certainly did that in postseason play last year. Shot to right. That's going to get down. Too good a pitch on an 0-2 count. The ball gets by and heads for the right field corner. That's going to score the first run. Arroyo on his way to third, lost the helmet, and Boston has cut the lead to 2. It's a 3-1 game.
Look, I know it's spring training, but you have to do a better job of making a play here. You know, you cannot be lazy in this situation. The wind is blowing, so you want to get your body over in front of that ball. He played it off to the side, and then he jogged after the ball. I mean,
I agree with you.
If you make that mistake, you just got to turn around and put your head down and get to that ball as quick as possible.
So that'll be a single, and E9 brings home Fitzgerald. And the trouble came with a 2-out walk for Kenley here. And he'll throw a 20th pitch. And that one missed outside. 1 ball, no strikes. I think it's a fair question until Acuna comes back and plays defensively. Got to pay attention to the outfield defense.
Yes.
If Ozuna's out there and left every day, and Rosario.
You're going to have Dickerson playing out in left probably also.
On the ground. That one should be easy, and it is. Kenley Jansen with 21 pitches. Gives up an unearned run, but it counts nonetheless. It's 3-1 Braves, middle of the 5th inning.
Braves here in Northport, Florida. Another beautiful day. Just got to see Kenley Jansen on the mound. And in speaking earlier this morning with Will Smith, I kind of asked him now, what'll be the biggest adjustment for him as the job changes from that final frame? And here's what he said his mindset and approach would be.
Like I was taught when I was a young kid, that you're the closer of your inning. Some guy just happens to throw the last one. So whether you be in the 6th, 7th, or 8th, just, you know, go close your inning. Hand it to the next guy. Hand it to Luke or Matzek or Mint or anybody down there, really. And just do your job, really. It doesn't really matter who you run out there. And with how good of our starters are, if Max or Chuck go, you know, 6 or 7 innings, I mean, that's a short game. So it's going to be fun.
Well, and just like you guys have been talking about, Smith saying, you know, there's 4 guys back there who have closed at different points in their career, and even mentioned, Bertie, that Matzek is probably the one with the nastiest stuff when it comes to all of them. So I would say wealth of riches for Brian Snitker to turn to late in the ball games.
And Kelly, Alex Anthopoulos talked about that the other day when he joined us. The back of the bubblegum card is important, but the content of the character is even more important for him when you comprise your 26-man roster. Look, there are a lot of guys who would have said, wait a minute, I won a World Series as your closer and you're replacing me the next year. That wasn't the case with Will Smith. He said, in essence, if it gets us another parade, I'm all for it. That says a lot about Will Smith and what kind of a teammate he is.
Absolutely. And Kelly, I thought what you said about Jansen's demeanor as well fits right into that. Because I was a little scared of Jansen, you know, 6'5", the nasty stuff, looks tough on the mound, walking in the clubhouse, laughing, bubbly, joking around. He and Will Smith telling jokes back and forth. Loved it.
Austin Davis, the new pitcher for the Red Sox. Well-traveled left-hander facing Matt Olson, who clubbed left-handed pitching last year. 22 home runs. Another reason that makes him such an attractive addition to this Braves club. Lefties that can hit lefty and hit for power.
Yeah, 22 home runs last year off the lefties.
BJ, I got a question for you. I was talking to Matt earlier today, and he started doing that stance where he moved his hands out in 16. What he said was he had him back here wrapped, and he would turn, and it caused him to fly open. So he did that so that he could stay through the ball. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, that front shoulder is so important. And, you know, early in his career, you know, he's turning. Now you're losing sight of the ball. Or if you're turning, you're looking to drive the ball the other way. Now, if that pitcher throws that ball inside, you're going to tie yourself up. There's no way you're getting in, being able to swing at that pitch. And that's kind of why he opens up a little more now in 2021. So he can put both eyes on that ball, especially against lefties. And that's why he's so successful. But, yeah, he has a unique, you know, stance with his hands so far back. But it works for him. You cannot change it. He's still so quick through the zone.
Austin Riley, the batter. RBI single and a run scored for Austin today. John Nogowski has taken over at first base for Matt Olson. His day is done as this ball is hammered to deep left field, but right into the wind. Too much topspin for Riley, who squared it up. He'll fly out on a hard hit ball to left. Stewart makes the play for the first out, and Nogowski back to first.
Well, that's a good job by Stewart out there in left field, because that off the bat, I mean, you want to turn and run, but he was able to keep his eye on the ball, and that wind just blew it right back into his glove.
Last couple days, that hits a blanket.
Or your car. Marcel, the batter, 1 on, 1 out. Ozuna struck out in the second, walked back in the third inning. Will Smith, speak of the devil, he's up in the bullpen. He's going to pitch next. Told Kyle Muller is ready to go today. Let's see some action from the Braves' king-size left-hander who's fighting for a starting assignment. Pretty good chance the Braves will go with 6 starters to begin the year, perhaps even an opener. 14 straight games to begin the season without a day off, as Ozuna is going to pop out to first, and Travis Shaw puts that away for out number 2. Braves open, as you know, with the Cincinnati Reds. 4 games with the Reds, then the Washington Nationals come in for 3 games, the 11th, 12th, and 13th at Truist Park. Our first road trip, 4 in San Diego, 3 with the Dodgers. Then home for the Marlins and the Cubs. So that's the home portion of your schedule in the month of April for the World Champs. Braves will play a couple of double headers with the Mets to make up the 2 games they lost due to the slow start to the regular season. If want to make a trip down to Miami, Braves will play the Marlins the final 3 games of the regular season, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's why we open with the Reds. Erase that first week, reschedule, get all 162 in, and that's where we are. As Dickerson takes the strike, it's an even count. Alex today has walked twice. Braves have earned 6 bases on balls on the day. And they've scored one of them. They have 3 runs on 2 hits. Foul away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the wind is really howling.
I like this to see Dickerson facing a lefty, just to see how he can react. With that swing, it looks like he's on lefties also, which is a great thing for Brian Snitker. Another nasty pitch, yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
I mean, that's a bonus if he can hit off lefties.
Swing and a miss. Good live fastball. 95 miles an hour from Adams, and we head to the 6th. It's 3-1 Atlanta in Northport. Sox 3-1. Austin Riley's had a nice day today. A single, an RBI, a run scored, and there he is. Austin Riley, world champion third baseman for the Atlanta Braves. How does that sound, kid?
Doesn't sound bad, that's for sure.
How did the 2021 season change things for you?
You know, just, you know, got to experience a lot. And I think the biggest thing is I feel like I experienced everything that you're going to in a baseball season. Just the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, you know, like I said, we're making that deep run in the postseason, winning the World Series. I just feel like, you know, this year or going into this year, you know, you kind of, anything that happens, you've kind of been through it. So I think that's been the biggest take for me.
And last year, I think if we revisit the first 3 weeks, I think you probably in your heart of hearts are wondering what's going on here, because the numbers you put up at the end of the season were nothing like what happened to you in the first 3 weeks. What was the turning point for Austin Riley last year?
You know, I was trying to make, it was like every day I was doing a different adjustment with my swing, just trying to figure stuff out. And I got to the point where I was just, you know, I think if you talk to any guy hitting-wise, they know that's never the answer. So I just went back to the basics, got, you know, very simple with it, and stuck out with my routine and didn't change it. And I was going to, you know, sink or swim with it, and I ended up swimming with it. And was able to put together you know, a good season.
And Mike Brumley was a guy and is a guy that's so instrumental in that for you. Tell us about your relationship with Mike, how that developed, and what exactly he helped get you through those tough early weeks.
You know, Mike Brumley, you know, changed, you know, I wouldn't be here with, you know, today if it wasn't for him hitting wise. You know, he's the backbone for me. I talk to him all the time, you know, about hitting. Just, you know, he's able to, we just clicked on a level right out of the gate whenever I first met him, and he has just the eye for my swing and can, you know, the biggest thing, you know, during the season was, you know, I could send him a video and he would send me, you know, a big long paragraph, and I would be able to understand exactly what he was talking about, and then go to, you know, mags and sites and be able to correlate that with them, and then be able to get actual good work done. So he's meant the world to me. And thankful that I found him.
Austin, BJ, man, one, you should have been the MVP last year. I voted for you even though I didn't have a vote, buddy.
I appreciate it.
But you know, with this shortened spring training, I mean, is it anything you try to change from last year? Because I mean, can you get any better than last year? What are you working on right now?
Just the consistency. Obviously, you know, I would love to cut down the strikeouts, you know, raise the walks, but just continue with the routine that I had last year going into this year, and trusting it. And I think that's going to go a long way, is just being able to trust that. You know, like you said, we do have a short spring, so, you know, hopefully get some swing, you know, get some at-bats on the backfield days I'm not playing. Just try to get as many ABs as possible.
Austin, Birdie here. I just want to say, first of all, I appreciate your humility. You were the same guy when you struggle as when you were a superstar. It's great to see. Everybody talks about your hitting, but you got a lot better defensively at third base. I know Ron Washington has been important for you. What's been the difference over the last 2 years that you've learned?
You know, just trusting what we do every day with him. You know, when you work with Wash, there's certain stuff that he wants you to do, and then, you know, at first, you know, you get out, you know, during a game and you're just trying to catch the ball, and until I understood and was able to put the work that we were doing early on during the day to the field work, that's whenever I started making strides and stuff, and you know, working with him is the best.
Hey, Austin, Kelly Crull out here in left. First of all, I know I already said congratulations to you and your wife. I'm so excited for you guys getting to become first-time parents here. But I also want to ask about these first few games playing with Matt Olson over there at first. I mean, I know how tough it is on this team to have Freddie gone, but for you, watching him over there and just what it's been like for the infield, getting to know him. You know, he's a great guy. You know, the first couple days he was here, we went and played golf. So he's about the boys. He's you know, 2-time Gold Glove. So you know, for me at third, all I got to do is get it over there. I know he's going to pick it. So that's a confident booster for me for sure. But no, great guy, can swing it. You know, I think a really good addition.
Will Smith on for the Braves, facing Christian Vasquez, and he goes the other way with a base hit. Nice piece of hitting for the Boston catcher, and there's a man aboard with one out. Austin, we were talking when Kenley Jansen came in about how it might have been the move that shocked the baseball world. What was your reaction when Alex Anthopoulos went out and got Kenley Jansen to add to the night shift?
Because that was a late in the night move. I was actually asleep and woke up the next morning and saw that, and I was like, you know, I kind of was like, thank you, I don't have to face it. And that's what I told him when I first met him when he got here. I'm glad that, you know, he's on our team, and just to add to our bullpen is just, you know, it's going to be stout for opponents, because it's stacked.
And it says a lot that Will Smith had no problem with pitching in whatever role Brian Snitker has for him, not necessarily just the ninth inning, right?
Right. No, Will's just, you know, he like I said, I use the term, he's for the boys. He wants to win, and it doesn't matter. He just wants the ball and wants to get outs.
Now to the fun stuff. What was your off season like? What'd you do?
Did a lot of hunting. So hunting, getting ready. Like I said, we got a baby come May 3rd, so getting ready for that. And you know, it's just it was a quick one, but it was a good one.
I'm sure Anna has some advice for you, and I'll probably echo it, which is sleep now.
Yeah, right. I told her, I said, the good thing, I don't really sleep a whole lot. I go to bed fairly early, but I get up super early, so I was like, I think I'll be able to handle the late night, early morning stuff.
Well, you're on record now. You know that, right?
I know.
As Ramos strikes out.
Austin, I got another one. Your thoughts on the shift going away and you not being out in shallow right field anymore?
Late in the season, I think it's going to be a good thing. I'll be able to have my legs. But no, I mean, that's a tough one. It really is for me. You know, having to you know, actually make the move over to shallow right field. You know, I think it helps a lot of pitchers. At the same time, you know, you get hurt by it too. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's up in the air for me.
Okay.
Austin, my last thing, man. I told you I'm not really a hunter. So did you get a 10-pointer or 12-pointer shot?
I shot 2 10s and an 8-pointer or 2 8-points. So I had a really good offseason.
Man, I knew what I was talking about, baby.
Right.
Driven to right, Austin Riley. We really appreciate the visit, kid. Can't wait to get started for real on the 7th. And early congratulations on the baby, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate it, guys.
Best to you and Anna.
Thank you.
Austin Riley, our guest, middle of the 6th inning. Spring training home with the Braves. It's a straight shot down I-75. Really encourage you to do it. Mike Dunn and his staff do a remarkable job in this, the 3rd full season, such as it is, for spring training baseball here in Southwest Florida. The weather is gorgeous, gentle breeze blowing today, and a good ball game. Braves looking good as they face the Boston Red Sox, and now Darwinzon Hernandez, the 5th Red Sox pitcher to work. He was a busy man last season for the 92-win Boston Ball Club.
25 years old. You're going to see some slingshots from the left side. Little sidearm action.
Orlando Arcia took over for Ozzie Albies defensively a moment ago, and as is customary, Arcia, not a guy that likes to watch the ball sail by. Took a healthy cut and came up empty with strike 1. Arcia is going to be an important guy for the Braves. Can play all the infield spots. Could probably play some outfield too, BJ. Which...
Yeah, I think that's a great commodity to have. You know, a guy like that can do it all. Has a lot of power. Had a great year for Milwaukee. Then you got a guy like Heredia, you know, sitting on that bench, can play center field, can play different positions. It's going to be interesting to see on opening day who's going to be on this roster. I think both of those guys got a chance to make it as right-hand hitters off the bench and potentially in that DH spot.
Yeah, I guess the bench is one of the areas where things have to shake out and probably won't get decided until the final couple of days of spring, barring yet another trade from Alex, which is possible. So we'll see how it all shakes out. As Hernandez slings that pitch in, as Bertie suggested, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Arcia, Heredia, and d'Arnaud scheduled in the Atlanta 6th. The Braves got all 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Ian Anderson made his first start, looked very good. 4 strikeouts, 2 hits in 3 innings.
It's really a good sign last year, bringing back Heredia, man. I mean, he brought the energy. I remember early in the season when he got his chance against the Cubs, came up just, I mean, he showed power, he showed the sword, he did it all.
Swing and a miss. Arcia down on strikes. And it's not so much that he came, it's when he came and what he did, because the Braves, as I said, lost Ozuna. Acuna went out. He really was not only a spark of energy, guys, which is one thing, but energy and production. He helped keep the Braves afloat.
Also very, very genuine.
So let's see what Guillermo can do. Those are his numbers from the 2021 season. He bats with the bases empty and shoots one right between the second base bag and shortstop. So it didn't take long for Heredia to get loose, huh? First pitch, whack, base hit, and he'll stand at first with 1 man out. Truist Park's premium clubs boast uninterrupted views behind home plate, as the fans behind home plate got a shot at that ball knuckling up the middle.
It's a great job staying on that pitch. Pitch just running back across the plate, not giving up on it, right back up the middle.
I was ready for him to make some sort of movement or gesture when he got to first. The slash, the swirl, I didn't see anything quite yet, so it must be spring training.
A little too early.
Yeah, we haven't decided what we're going to do this year.
Yeah, you got to change that up, don't you?
Yeah, each year, exactly.
New year.
No more panda head, no more swords. Got to come up with something different.
William Contreras, same spot, same result. So back-to-back hits from Heredia and William Contreras.
I really like Contreras, man. He's going to be a real good hitter at the Major League Baseball level. You know, one thing that he really had to work on is his defense last year, which he kind of corrected at the end of the year. I thought he got better. But I think he is going to be the future of the Braves at that position.
That's such a tough position when you come up as a rookie. I mean, you don't have it mastered. You're learning a lot of different pitches, seeing breaks on baseballs that you've never seen before. You won't see in AA, AAA, a lot of adjustments. It's a hard position to come up and just be ready and totally refined.
Well, you remember in the COVID season, as Pat Valaika shoots one into shallow center. Remember, a ball got lost out there earlier, not this time. Duran makes that play for the second out. Remember when the Braves had all those injury problems, Alec Jackson and William Contreras came up and had to start the season for the Braves behind the plate and did an excellent job for Atlanta. So,
and people don't remember that. You know, they talk about his defense, but I'm saying this kid came from almost A-ball right to the big leagues. So he missed a lot of time to develop at the minor league level and learn how to catch, but did a really good job.
Those are good numbers for Travis Demeritte. And something else I think that gets lost when you factor in the COVID season. A lot of these young players you're seeing in games like this at this time had a full year of their baseball development cut off.
Right.
Lost, gone forever. They aged a year, but their baseball card didn't. And so in many ways, these kids have to play catch up now. But here they are. And they'll have a full year this year. And as guys like Demeritte, you keep putting up 20 home run seasons, you're going to knock on the door here or someplace else.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've expected to see him here before now. It's a product of being with an organization that so many good players at each position can be tough. I mean, BJ, I don't know how you feel, but you know, baseball, so much of it is timing. You see a guy just maybe in the wrong spot or just waiting for somebody to get hurt, but it's also good to have depth, not just at the big league level, but in your double and triple A farm system as well.
Well, you look at a guy like Contreras, you don't want him not getting at bats, not seeing pitches, not catching pitchers. So I think that's why you go out and get a Manny Pena, because Travis d'Arnaud is going to be your guy. Can Contreras play at the major league level? I believe so now. But you don't want a kid like him sitting on the bench watching.
Well, the thing for Travis is, as a second baseman, here he's blocked. You know, Ozzie Albies isn't going anywhere. Former #1 pick with Texas. Lost the bat handle there. Demeritte came over to Atlanta from Texas in 2016. Then Travis and Joey Wentz went to the Tigers at the trade deadline in 2019 for Shane Green. And then the Braves got him back in the organization on a waiver claim. So here he is back home from Winder, Georgia to Atlanta, Georgia, and back with the Braves, where he started work in 2016 in the organization. Full count, runners go, and inside. Good at bat for Demeritte. Another walk. The Red Sox have walked 7 men today, and that's going to load him up for Nogowski. Truist Park's premium clubs boast uninterrupted views behind home plate, upscale food, beverage options, and so much more. Both the Delta Sky 360 Club and Xfinity Club are at capacity this year, but you can be the first to know when seats become available by joining the priority list. Go to Braves.com/premium and make sure you're at the top of the list for the 2023 priority list today. This is John Nogowski. Bases loaded, 2 outs in a 3-1 Braves game. Hot shot, line drive base hit. That's going to score 1. Heredia comes home. Contreras around third. He'll be waved. He'll score standing up. And John Nogowski extends the Atlanta lead with a 2-run single off Darwinzon Hernandez. And the Braves now lead at 5-1.
It's a good job hitting here. Fastball up in the zone, getting that bat head around. Talk about young guys making an impact. That kid has to feel pretty good, Paul.
You got it. 133 major league at bats. 29 years old.
Well, here's another intriguing name for the Braves making a bid for a bench job. Former Boston Red Sox Brock Holt. Every time, guys, the Braves played Boston, this guy seemed to do something that hurt the Braves in the game.
They were asking Snit earlier today about all the positions that he can play, not just infield or outfield, but both, and could even run over and play short if he needed to in a pinch.
And slash to the left side. Wynn trying to push that ball back onto the warning track, but it's off the netting, and an even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brock Holt's hit for the cycle twice as a big leaguer and is the only player in the history of the game to hit for the cycle in postseason play.
Wow.
Think about that.
I would have never guessed
No,
that.
I wouldn't. Pretty good trivia question.
Yep.
One of those games he hit for the cycle came against the Braves in 2015. That action came against Julio Teheran and made the All-Star team that year with Boston. He's been with the Brewers, the Nationals, and the Rangers after leaving Boston. And on March 20th, the Braves signed him to a minor league deal. If he makes the team, that'll be a big league deal. And he helped his cause with a single to right. Here comes Demeritte around third. He will score without a throw. The peg back to second, not in time. Nogowski almost wandered too far off the bag, but Brock Holt with a base hit to right field. That scores Travis Demeritte, and the Braves have their third run of the inning.
Good job staying in on that left-hander. Lefty on lefty. Keeping that shoulder in. Hits a bullet out there to right field.
Lefties that can do that. Open manager's eyes and a veteran guy. So Brock Holt with a pinch hit single. And a big league mustache. Stands at first.
I mean, that's so hard to do 2 cycles in a career.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough to get 1. Oh, my man, John Mabry had a couple of cycles in his career, too.
The hardest is the triple, right?
Well, the single for me, I had a chance and couldn't get the single, man. Gosh, nabbit. Bad memories.
Here's Michael Harris.
All I hear is great things about Michael Harris down from the coaches. He is opening some eyes.
Tell you what, he opened my eyes during batting practice. Wind blowing toward right or not, he was hitting balls into the third row of the Truist Pavilion above the bullpen in right center today. Moonshots.
Another hometown kid. And a lot of people think he's ready for the big leagues this year.
Played in Rome last year, 101 games. And another guy that everybody in baseball says keep your eye out for this kid. He is going to be, barring injury, a rapid riser through the system. I'm told he's gotten a lot bigger, a lot stronger in a good way. 3-1 pitch to him. Good at bat against a lefty. He takes ball 4, and the walk parade continues for the Red Sox to have. Darwinzon Hernandez walks his second man of the inning. And that's 8 walks in the game for the Red Sox. So Ryan Goins will stand in. High hopper to second on the first pitch, and the flip to first will retire the side. The Braves bat around in the 6th inning. They score 3 more runs and have a 5-run lead.
Harry Caray. Then Skip Caray came along, and now our favorite Caray, Chip Caray, manning the booth. How about that pick? But wait, we've got more coming. Twins, Chris and Stephen Caray, the newest broadcasting members of this legendary family, will be calling games for the AA Amarillo Sod Poodles this year. They're tall, good-looking, great voices, fantastic hair, just like their grandpa.
Couldn't be prouder of them. Man, what a whirlwind. Thank you for doing that, by the way. That was wonderful. Couldn't be prouder. It's really weird looking at this from the other lens. You know what I mean?
Wow.
30 years ago, it was me getting a start like those two guys are, and all the credit goes to my wife, Susan, for raising such great kids while we're out watching guys hit a ball and running to first base.
Susan hanging out today. Tristan as well up in the booth. You just keep churning them out, huh?
No, we're done.
Come on, Susan. Are you done?
One more.
Yeah, but thank you. We're really excited for him, and thanks to the folks with the sod poodles.
Well, and I want to say this, Tony Enzer hired them. Their unique style and knowledge of the game, along with being the next generation of the most legendary baseball broadcast family, made this the only move for our organization and fans. They will be the first set of identical twins to do pro baseball game. That's going to be history, folks. We're going to call them Sodcasters.
I like it. I like it. Well, we're proud of him, and really grateful that Tony Enzer and his staff gave him a chance. So, thrilling moment for our family. We're going to finish up our spring game on Monday. We're going to drive home Tuesday, pack, and then jump on a plane to Amarillo Wednesday, get him moved in, and then get back and get ready for our season.
Sweet.
So, I'm told the weather there is beautiful. It's very consistent, hot.
I got to ask you this. You know, your family, obviously incredible. Growing up, do your kids, is that something they always want to do that come along later? Do they ask you questions? How does that work?
Yeah, for the most part. Tristan really wants to do it too, so he's probably next in line.
Okay.
Stefan wanted to, like all of us, you dream of being an athlete, and you find out pretty quickly that when you're not as talented as Paul Bird or Brian Jordan or Tom Glavine or Jeff Francoeur in our stable, I'll leave Peter Moylan out of it, or Nick Green. The next best thing is to do this. So yeah, I think they kind of thought, wow, that's a cool way to do living, work with wonderful people, and call a game for a living. Yeah, it's in their blood, I suppose.
Do you teach them about baseball, the intricacies of it?
God, I hope not.
Well, Tristan made a prediction last year and cost me some money.
He did.
Man, so he's already ready for it.
Yeah, he called a home run, I think,
yeah,
in the playoffs,
exactly.
right? And to your credit, you paid up.
I sure did.
But thank you. We're really excited for him, and I know they're going to do a great job, and can't wait to see where it takes them. Our family's been doing this since 1945 in the big leagues, so hopefully they'll carry the torch a few decades from now. I'll put it that way.
Very cool.
So thanks, guys. This is Kyle Muller on the mound for the Braves, and that didn't feel good for Jonathan Rose. He's down in a heap in front of home plate. Of all the youngsters the Braves have in rotation or ready to go, I think Kyle Muller is intriguing to me. He's like a modern day John Lester. You look at this guy, that's exactly who he reminds me of physically. Just a big monster of a man who had some good outings for the Braves last year.
He was huge last year. I remember pitching against the Mets, his debut. He was not only pitched well, but he got a hit that game. I mean, he really looked good.
And he's another young pitcher who's thankful to the high heavens that he got a chance to get a hit, because not anybody else will have that shot. That's what he's got to work on, throwing more strikes, making more quality pitches. But no questioning, he's got the stuff to be a terrific big league pitcher.
I like the Lester comparison. That's good.
Yeah.
John hung him up after this year, or this past year. Great career.
Yeah.
Of course, with the Red Sox mostly.
He was a bulldog, man. I love John Lester, man.
You know, you throw breaking balls, curves, sliders, this and that, you develop, significant hand strength. But he was the one guy, when I shook his hand, I felt like he could have crushed me.
Yeah, vice.
Yes.
Just a gigantic handshake. Had a great career with a world championship of his own. And that's what makes Muller so good. If he can change speeds and throw 97 for strikes, he's going to be on his way. It's a tough assignment for Ryan Fitzgerald here. With Muller way ahead in the count, 0-2. Contreras speared that.
I got to say this, though. In talking about your family, Chip, when I was on a DL in St. Louis, I was back home listening to the game. Cardinals playing the Cubs, and it was a tight game, and I'm sitting there listening, and all of a sudden Harry Carey says, "It's a long fly ball in left field," and I'm sitting there like, no way, we just gave it up. And he says, Ozzie Smith makes the catch. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. Well, as I keep saying, Brian, it's terrifying to see your future. There was one time where he's doing the game on WGN with Steve Stone, and pitch comes to the plate, and he looks up, and line drive to third base. Steve Stone says, no, Harry, they just struck out Dave Kingman. They're throwing the ball around the infield.
Oh, my goodness.
But it happens, right? As Edinson Paulino is going to bat, as they just picked off Koss, who came in as a pinch runner a moment ago. And that's not going to earn you any awards from your skipper. A pinch runner, and you get picked off. Nice move from Kyle Muller. Time to stretch all Atlanta here in Northport. Houston Astros in the World Series, and that home run from Jorge Soler got the party started. The Braves didn't stop hitting all series long. We saw Ian Anderson with his 5 no-hit innings. Plenty to celebrate as the Braves won critical game 3 by a 2-0 score on a 2-hit shutout. Then the solar power, yeah, he knew it. The middle innings of that game broke it open, and Brian Snitker, how rewarding must that have felt for a 40-plus year member of the organization to celebrate a world championship, the second in Atlanta history. 3 pinch hit homers. They dominated at Truist Park, where it truly was a gigantic home field advantage. And now the challenge for the Braves, which is one that's been very difficult. It's been over 20 years since there's been a back-to-back World Series champion in Major League Baseball. And I would guess, fellas, on paper, this team has as good a shot as any to break that streak.
Yeah, I remember what Alex Anthopoulos said yesterday, how last year he thought he had the greatest team in the world with all the injuries. Who would have thought? You know, the great moves he made at the end of the season was phenomenal, and to see that run that the Braves got on was incredible. But it's so hard to do, to be able to go back-to-back and win the World Championship. But you know, on paper, Acuna comes back. I mean, we have to be one of the favorites to do so.
On paper, you're better.
Yeah.
Added a few guys to your bullpen. Again, healthy, bringing Acuna back. At the end, you just got to get in there. You got to click. It's about chemistry. It's about timing, getting hot at the right time. Pitchers staying healthy. But yes, if anybody can do it, it's these guys.
The difference, I guess, is, as you said, new chemistry, new team, new era beginning in Atlanta. What hasn't changed is, and you guys dealt with this when you played with the Braves, there's now an even bigger target on this team's back. Yeah. How do you handle that as a player?
Well, that's out of your control. You win the World Championship, you know you're going to have the target. Your focus is just to continue to do what we've done. You know, and you look at this coaching staff, it hasn't changed. You know, it's no new coaches coming in. Everything's the same. So I think character-wise, everybody's going to be humble and approach the game the same way. And if they can do that, you know, it's a chance we could repeat.
Arcia dumps one into left field on a 3-1 count. Got jammed a bit, but strong enough to single in his second at bat since coming into the game.
Chip, I want to answer your question from my perspective. I think having a target is a great thing. I broke into the big leagues in '95 with the Mets, and I came in Atlanta late in the year. They had already clinched. I'm sitting in the dugout, and when guys like Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, Fred McGriff, you know, you start to see all these people, Justice, walk. That was intimidating. And then I went to the Braves, and then I went to the Phillies, and so they always had a target on their back during that time period, but it was also very, very intimidating when you see a team that's already done it, that knows how to win, that has big names, that's also very, very good. So this team, I believe, is built to win year in and year out, just like the late 90s and mid-2000s team did. And that's also very intimidating, even though there's a target on your back.
0-1 pitch is in for a strike. We chatted briefly with Terry McGuirk before the game, the Braves chairman, who talked about the financial commitments that Liberty Media has put into this team. Highest payroll in franchise history. And what he said to us was, I thought, even more encouraging. He said, we're a top 10 payroll team. And he said, I think there's a chance we're going to be in the top 10 forever going forward, which is awesome to hear. In the air to center, a little trouble, but Duran hangs in there. Excuse me, that's McDonough who checked in center. High sky almost cost another Red Sox outfielder, but there's the first out.
I got to give Terry McGuirk a shout out as well, because last year when the Braves are hanging in there at 500 and Alex Anthopoulos goes to him and said, can we add players?
Right.
You know, they talk about it. What if he says no?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and you could make a case for that, but talking to Terry, he said we factored in other teams in the league, not taking off with the divisions. I believed in Alex and his capability to make moves, so I said yes. Good call.
Good call indeed, as Alex Cora is going to make a call to the bullpen. Ton of pitches for Darwinzon Hernandez. He's given up 3 runs, and he'll depart in the Atlanta 7th. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By Bojangles, it's bow time. And by Truist. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. Paul Bird, Brian Jordan, Kelly Kroll, Chip Carey with you in Northport. Another good day for the Braves on a glorious afternoon for baseball. Glad you're joining us today. Hope you'll be with us on Saturday and Monday as well. Another Red Sox pitcher. This is Frank Germán. I believe that's how you pronounce Frank's last name. 24 games in the minors, high ERA, a former highly thought of prospect with the Yankees with a big fastball. And he showed it there as William Contreras had it timed but fouled it off at 97 miles an hour. Boston has had trouble finding the strike zone today. They've walked 8 Braves. 8 of them. Darwinzon Hernandez 2 walks in an inning and a third with 5 hits and 3 runs. And in the blink of an eye, it's 0-2 for the Braves catcher William Contreras. Speaking of tomorrow's game, we'll get a look at Tucker Davidson. He's scheduled to start for the Braves. We'll welcome the Minnesota Twins to action here in Northport. Popped up. Shallow center. In comes McDonough. Nice play. And that's the second out.
Good job by McDonough fighting off that sun. I mean, this guy is so high. You can lose that ball very quickly, but he ran it down. Notice how the second baseman ran way out there because he knew it could be trouble.
All help appreciated this time of the game and this time of spring. So Germán gets the first man he's assigned. Here's Valleca. Runner at first with 2 outs. Twins are going to be an intriguing team to talk about tomorrow. Kind of surprised that they ended up with who they ended up at shortstop, huh? So that'll be on our topic list tomorrow for Rocco Baldelli's Twins, who were preseason pick to challenge for the Central but had a disappointing year. Into right center. McDonough's been busy, handles the third out, and we head to the 8th inning. Glad you're with us. All Atlanta 6-1. Ring day is Monday, April the 11th, and that's presented by Truist. All 40,000 fans in attendance will get their own replica of the Braves World Championship ring. Tickets are going fast. Get yours today at braves.com/promos. Second inning of work coming up for Kyle Muller. He's got the top of the Boston order. Edinson Paulino was in the batter's box when Koss was picked off last inning, so he'll start things again here in the Red Sox 8th. They're down 6-1.
Paul, what's one thing that you feel like Mueller needs to improve on?
That right there. Learning that 93 located is fantastic and good enough. You know, when you can throw 98, 99 miles an hour, there's a temptation to let it eat. But hey, throttle back a little bit, relax, hit your spot. 93, 94, 95 is good enough. I don't know, can you square everything up if you swing as hard as you can every single time?
No.
So it's kind of saying, you know, if I throw as hard as I can every single pitch, so you know, you can still air it out, but let it be 0-2, 1-2, elevate, but then go back to pitching, relax, and hit your spots.
Swing and a miss. Got ahead, polished him off. Made that look easy, didn't he? Second strikeout for Muller. 1 away in the 8th.
Way to talk it up, Paul, right here.
And this is 92. Easy. Up. Beats him.
But you know what? He set him up with those 2 sliders. You know, the slider was a second strike.
Yeah.
And then he threw that slider further in where he fouled it off. And came back with the fastball.
This is Tyler McDonough. And he takes a strike. Red Sox will go right from the frying pan into the fire, so to speak. They open in New York against the Yankees this year. And after that series in the Bronx, the Red Sox will take on a team I think that'll be one of the most interesting ones to follow this year, the Detroit Tigers.
They got better this song. Oh, man.
They had a really good second half last year. A.J. Hinch has that team turned around. They spent some money, including Francisco Rodriguez, the former Boston starter, who signed a deal in Detroit.
And that's where the Cubs shortstop went.
Javi Baez.
Baez, yeah, I love Baez. Man, that was a huge pickup with Detroit.
And they've
getting him.
Still have Miguel Cabrera, of course. And all that young pitching as Muller another strikeout. That's 3 of them in an inning and 2/3. So McDonough's retired. 2 quick outs.
The American League is pretty stacked. You look at the White Sox. Man, that team young. Great pitching. That's another club you got to look out for.
Here's a big league hitter, Frenchie Cordero.
You know what's good about what you're saying too in the future, the way baseball's set up, we'll get to see more of those guys. I know, Chip, you've talked about seeing Mike Trout and others. Now Ohtani, the big show.
Yeah. I've long said, you know, would the NBA have taken off if Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had seen each other every 3rd year? Probably not. So I'm really looking forward to the more balanced schedule. That's how you create rivalries, and that's how you really see the other great players in the league instead of every 3rd year or every 6th year in your ballpark. So I love that change in the players and owners agreement. I look forward to that next year as Cordero takes a little low. San Diego, Kansas City, and now Boston. The big league stops for Frenchie Cordero, an outfielder, first baseman. And softly hit to short. Ought to be easy. Muller looked terrific. 3 strikeouts, a ground out, and a pickoff in 2 scoreless innings for Kyle Muller. Baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet, by Destin Fort Walton Beach, and by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. Well, that team on the right, our mixed doubles squad of Drew Jenkins and our producer Gretchen Caney, absolutely humiliated a former major league player and a Division I tennis star on the day off yesterday, I understand.
There were so many other clips they could have shown, you know.
Well, they control the tape machine. You know that, right?
Wow, Birdie, you missed that ball. Come
well
on.
done, guys. You know what? Drew sneaky. I guessed right. He went left. Good shot. Put on the brakes with the transfer. But it's Kelly's fault because she could have basically put away any shot she wanted all day. She was playing a little nice.
A little timid.
Yeah. So I want to say to my partner out and left, you know, go for the kill shot earlier.
Easy does it, Birdie. Easy does it. This is spring training for all of us. Okay?
There you go,
We're
Kelly.
easing into this, having a good time, but Drew and Gretchen, we will not forget this. We will get you back for that one.
Wow.
No, we had a good time yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, Kelly, were you worn out like Paul after the tennis matchup?
Do you want an honest answer, or should I say what's going to make Paul feel better? Just kidding. No, we got a nice little glisten on, didn't we, Paul?
We did. And let me just say, Kelly was so much better than everybody else. College tennis player at Mizzou, for those who don't know, that the way to handicap herself, she didn't even warm up. So she just came out and started making shots. And
that's a nice way of saying I showed up late.
Well, it was very nice of you not to win every point, and that was pretty apparent. So
apparently our great crew member Drew Jenkins didn't warm up either because he can't move today.
He also has a nice sunburn, doesn't he, Birdie?
You got it.
Hey, I played with Gretchen, and Gretchen's pretty good now.
Yeah.
She's pretty good.
We have a good crew. That's all there is to it. An athletic, good crew. Chip, BJ, we expect you out there next time.
There you go.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Kelly, hasn't the sport of tennis suffered enough? This is Brian Bello, by the way. He's a young 22-year-old kid that's in some top 100 prospect lists for all of Major League Baseball. So he's getting some opportunities to open some eyes against big league hitters here in Northport. And he recovered in time to take care of Travis Demeritte for the first out in the 8th inning. John Nogowski with an RBI hit last time up, bats for the second time.
It's a big stocky guy, Nogowski. Did a great job driving in a couple of runs his last at bat. Turned on a fastball in.
With that body and the long hair, kind of a John Kruk look-alike.
No, I think Kruk's belly was a little further out, man.
John, that was Brian Jordan. Last name spelled J-O-R.
I love you, John. Oh, he was the best, man.
No balls, 2 strikes. And a wicked hook. Kid's got a good arm. Showed off a couple of big league secondary pitches in that sequence, and quickly 2 out. And Brock Holt will hit. He had an RBI single as well. Braves have 6 runs on 7 hits. Ian Anderson started, went 3 innings of 2-hit ball. Thornburg, Kenley Jansen, Will Smith, and now Kyle Muller trying to wrap it up and get us ready for the Twins tomorrow. And a diving try, great effort, but it doesn't stick. Cross with a great try, couldn't come up with it. Again, any ball hit to the left side, the wind's going to push it back into fair territory.
Yeah, if they weren't in that shift, that was an easy play. He ran a long way trying to make that catch.
And he's going to go to Alex Cora and say, yeah, but next year that's an out because we can't shift.
Exactly.
So a swing on the house for Brock Holt here, down a strike. Already this kid on the mound, 22 years old, but he has a real nice smooth delivery, doesn't he?
He does. That number that's very high is going to change soon.
Two balls and a strike. I mean, that's an easy 98 miles an hour. He's not the biggest of guys. I mean, he's built like Juan Cruz. Remember the old Brave and Cub pitcher? Slight of bill, but man, he can sling it up there in the 90s.
He's got a little bit of Pedro Martinez for me, and I hate making that comparison. I'm talking delivery and that easy gas.
Now, that was a nasty changeup. That last pitch.
You see it? Little leg kick.
That'd be a good one to copy.
Yeah. All we need is an oversized jersey now and some high tops.
On the ground, a breaking ball. Brock Holt will be set down, and that will take us to the 9th inning. Braves in command. 6-1 your score.
Kelly.
And she did. It is true. Blew me away. She says, guys, he's going to hit a home run. I said, okay, I'll turn the camera on.
I really went out on a limb there after you fouled off about 9 pitches. Am I right, guys?
Well.
But I did have a good feeling about it because Georgie had been on this run, and I had talked to him before that game, and I loved his demeanor. He was so locked in, and we saw him the whole postseason. Everything he did the second half, really, and just what a moment. I know that's, BJ, that was your favorite moment when asked about the postseason.
Yeah,
right?
it was my favorite moment. You know, the old chest pump, looking in the dugout. Oh, man, that just put the icing on the cake right there.
Yeah, 446-foot home run with 2 outs. Well, that two out run so big, and that was pretty much all Max Fried needed. Remember, first inning he got stepped on, and I think all of us thought, uh-oh, Max Fried might be hurt, and all it did, it seemed, was make him mad. because Max Fried went on a run and was almost unhittable. 3 hits in 6 innings in the clinching game of the World Series.
Yeah, that looked so ugly when you first saw it, where he stepped on his ankle, and I'm sitting there like, oh no, this is not what we need. And golly, man, you talking about grinding it out. That was unbelievable how Max Fried just took over the game.
They didn't just win the World Series. Some incredible moments that are just unforgettable. A blast to watch. Can you imagine being the young kid in Houston that walks out of his apartment and there's a baseball laying in the street?
Connor Wong, the hitter. 2 quick strikes to him from Kyle Muller, and that's out of play. Well, you guys were in Houston. BJ and I were at the Battery in Atlanta, and that was my favorite moment, was watching the local fans watch the game on television and then celebrate. BJ, there had to be 100,000 people.
It was so packed. It was incredible. It was almost scary. It was so many people.
But they loved every minute of it, as Wong shoots one toward right, and a diving try. Demeritte can't come up cleanly, hits him off the heel of the glove. And Wong is aboard to start the 9th inning. First hit allowed by Kyle Muller.
Good effort out there by Demeritte. I mean, that's a tough play right down the line with the wind blowing. The ball is just going further and further away from you. You got to lay out. Good job smothering that ball.
I feel like we're in Chicago. You know, just seeing the wind go different directions, and you just don't know on every single play.
So Pedro Castellanos will be the hitter for Boston. Let's see if Muller can get a ground ball here. He has struck out 3 men in 2+ innings and paints the outside corner for a strike.
Days like this, as an outfielder, you know, if you're in left field, you got to play way in. You just got to challenge hitters. Hit it over my head, because that ball's not going anywhere. And the right field is probably the toughest position with the wind blowing like it is, because that ball's going to run toward the line and away from you.
What do? You get out in BP and just start tracking, or you?
Yeah, I mean, you do. But you know, in the back of your mind, that wind may change. That's why every inning you got to come out, look at those flags, and see where that wind is blowing down here in Florida. But the high sky is what really gets you. You know, it's you cannot take your eyes off the ball.
2 quick strikes. We'll try again. Like the fact that Muller's going back out there. He's a starting pitcher by trade, and to the point we've made in our first 2 games, innings are at a premium. Need to get innings, need to get work. And as big and strong as Kyle is, 3 innings, 40 some odd pitches ought not bother him, you wouldn't think. Oh, Contreras took some punishment, but he's all right. Still no balls, 2 strikes.
Give credit to these Red Sox hitters. They are fouling off some tough pitches.
I really like what I see out of Muller right now. He's made the adjustment of not throwing harder. And BJ, you talked about impressing a manager. We know you can throw 98. We know you can throw 99. We know you've got a big arm. Show us that you can pitch.
Right. And I'm quite sure he learned a lot from last year. His experience up in the big leagues, you know, throwing that hard, you know, you're not going to last as long. And it seems to me now he's starting to figure out how I can pitch, and my endurance will hang in there, and I can go 6-7 innings.
I mean, it's a blessing when you can throw 93 easy. As you said, you'll last longer. I mean, I had to run like I was throwing a javelin to hit 90. So when you see this big guy out there with that body, left-handed, oh, wow. What a gift.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Chopper to left side. Holt can't get that. That'll sneak through for a base hit. So back-to-back hits for Boston in the 9th inning. 2 on and nobody out.
This is a good pitch on the outer half of the plate.
And rewarded with a weak ground ball.
Yeah.
Just went the wrong spot.
Found the hole. Put the ball in play. That's the key.
All those foul balls earned Castellanos another pitch to offer and took advantage. So Tyreek Reed will be the hitter. 2 on, nobody out. These are also important sequences in a 5-run game. I think Brian Snitker alluded to that the other day with Kyle Wright. Let's see how pitchers do when they get a first taste of trouble. Limit the damage. See if Kyle can take care of Reed here. Nice and easy. 87 miles an hour. Action in the Braves bullpen. Nolan Kingham is up and throwing. As Muller now over 40 pitches. One ball, one strike.
Pulled the string on that pitch ball. What was that, a changeup?
Yes. At 88. Ian Anderson, another pitcher with a hard changeup at 88. Fastball sits 94.
To right center. Long run. Heredia makes the catch on the warning track. Great running grab by Guillermo in center. Wong will tag and move to third. Well hit ball, but it's caught. And that's the first out in the top of the 9th.
That's a great plate right there.
It is. Heredia did a great job keeping that glove up, getting that sun out of his eyes and staying on it because that ball was blowing. And wind was just taking it further and further away from him.
So a double play ball from Tyler Dearden could end the game. It's a lefty-lefty matchup for Kyle Muller. First and third, one away. Lined over short. That'll score the second Boston run. So a nice piece of hitting from Dearden. Wong comes in to make it a 6-2 game. And let's see if Muller will continue. No sign of Rick Kranitz or Brian Snitker at the moment.
It's just staying down on that pitch, driving it the other way. How about we talk about making an impact? Watch Harris here. Get to that ball quick, get it in. I mean, that's a kid that's trying to impress, and you know that's the way you do it. 100% every play.
So Muller in his third inning gave up a bloop single, followed by another base hit. Great catch, and Heredia saved him further trouble. Now an RBI single from Dearden now costs the batter. First and second, one out. And it looks, Paul, like he truly is working on his off-speed stuff in this third inning of work today.
He is.
That was a pretty good-looking slider there. I don't know how nasty the changeup is, but man, that slider looked good.
Took a little off there and had his man way off stride. 0-2. Let's finish him off.
So it's 0-2. Now you throw your 98 up, where you don't have to be pinpoint or perfect on the outside corner. BJ, now you let it eat, get it up in the eyes, get that good swing and miss, and then if you miss with that one, you go back to the breaker. Called for it. Come on, hit your spot. It was a deke. I fell for it, BJ.
So it's 1-2 for Christian Koss. That got away from Contreras, and everybody's going to move up. So that takes away the double play chance.
I don't like that pitch choice just because he's thrown so many breaking balls, which starts out high to be a strike. So I like the fastball up in that situation because it starts on the same plane as that breaking ball. Better chance for a swing and miss.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're throwing back-to-back-to-back sliders and not coming with that high fastball too.
So fouled away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. There was the fastball. Castellanos and Dearden, the runners at third and second. The pitch on the ground. That'll get a run home. But the Braves run out of way now. Castellanos scores to make it a 6-3 game. Koss with a good at bat gets an RBI. Dearden to third. And Boston down to its final scoring chance. And Brian Snitker is going to go get Kyle Muller. I think pitch count more than anything else gets him here. As Kyle did a good job, 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, a couple of runs. The man at third is his responsibility as well. 6-3 is your score. 1 out to get in Northport. Northport, Florida. Hope you make your way down to Southwest Florida before this spring training ends. Braves and Red Sox battling here at Cool Today Park, and the Braves have had the best of the matchup today. It's a 6-3 game. 1 more out to get, and the former Texas Longhorn Nolan Kingham is going to come on and pitch. A couple of levels for Nolan last year after missing the 2020 season due to COVID restrictions. Nolan did a great job at Mississippi. 12 games, a 2.08 ERA, a 6-1 record. Got promoted to Gwinnett, where things didn't go quite as well, 1 step away from the big league. So we'll see what the 6'4", 210-pounder can show us. Here against David Hamilton. Sharply hit to short. 2 pitches, game over. Braves beat the Red Sox 6-3. That's your final score, guys. The first handful of pitchers for Atlanta did an excellent job today. Just enough offense against a leaky Boston staff.
You saw exactly what you wanted to see. Ian Anderson started out mid-season form looking fantastic. Little of this, little of that. Very windy. As BJ has said earlier, everybody stayed healthy, working on that timing.
Good to see Riley continue that consistent hitting. RBI single for him. And, you know, how about the bullpen? I mean, Jansen, Smith, Thornburg look really good. So they're all positive signs. You got to like the direction the Braves are headed in.
Looking good. Braves win their 4th game of the spring. Red Sox fall to 6-3, and hopefully the winning ways continue for us tomorrow. The Braves will host the Minnesota Twins. Tucker Davidson scheduled to start for Atlanta, and our coverage will begin at 1 o'clock Eastern time. For more coverage, visit @BravesOnBally on all of your social media outlets. For Kelly Cole, Paul Bird, Brian Jordan, and our great crew, Chip Carey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.